feel something change inside of me. The inner human slowly dead in me. I feel it come alive. The darkness brings me light. There ain't no stopping it, and you will never have from me. Pain of the change. What have I become? A creature of the night, ruled by moonlight. The pain of the change. This body's no longer mine. Feel wild and free, but caged at the same time. It's time to be human, think human, feel human. A hunger's arising inside of me. The beast is alive and break it free. It's time to be human, think human, feel human. Keep putting more chains on the beast. Hope it don't break loose. You better hope so too. I'm still inside. I'm still here. What have I done? When did this all start? I have become a monster in the dark. A hunger like no other. Running on instinct. What's this creature? Always inside of me. The pain of the change. What have I become? A creature of the night, ruled by moonlight. The pain of the change. This body's no longer mine. Feel wild and free, but caged at the same time. It's time to be human, think human, feel human. A hunger's arising inside of me. The beast is alive and break it free. It's time to be human, think human, feel human. Keep putting more chains on the beast. Hope it don't break loose. You better hope so too. You better hope so too. You better hope so too.
Seeking power over those that oppose me. Unspeakable crime, murder at midnight. A deal I made, a life I had to take. Someone I loved once held so tight. The screams will follow me, cries of my ancestors said, go away. My operation, fasting in brain, shape-shifting. I feel the animal high inside me. I feel the change. I feel the change coming. We are one but not the same. This form I desire, innocent blood I will devour. Ancestors gathering round the dwelling, the spirit inhabiting, evil enveloping, the dancing graves in the night, the spirit occupying and transforming, stolen heights, dark practices, my secret life, feathered outers, mysticism, intriguing, my operation, fasting in brain, shape-shifting. I feel the animal high inside me. I feel the change. I feel the change coming. this initiation. It's all part of the dark creation. My desires performing incantations. I walk in disguise. If I catch you, it's your demise. Shamanism, my religion, summoning spirits, manifesting myself and changing my flesh. A nightmare to behold. I'ma make you part of the fold. The skin of a man, the soul of a predator. The change is complete. This thing I become, my flesh has succumbed. My operator, fasting in brain, shape-shifting. I feel the animal hiding inside me. I feel the change. I feel the change coming. We are one but not the same.
When the hunger wakes me, I live to feed. Where the darkness surrounds me, shape-shifting in the night, stalking you. Does my face seem familiar? My body tell you more. Will I change you or will it end you? And the power that I have can give you eternal life. Death doesn't know me. I become eternal. When the hunger wakes me, I live to feed. Where the darkness surrounds me, where the mist, she follows me. I walk alone.
All right, folks, welcome to Paranormal Roundtable. I'm your host, Josh Turner, and this is PRT. Like to hope more people will join the chat, but things got screwed up. Last night was supposed to be a pre-record, and it didn't happen. I did not know that until early today, and I was like, "Oh crap." That did not go down. Late last night, I found out because I've been working and dealing with stuff, and I got a million things I got to do. So sorry about that. The PRT team dropped the ball, but they're my team, so I dropped the ball. Sorry.
It's been hectic. This flu's got us turned around. I'm still not feeling 100%.
Yeah, me neither. Not at all. And we still got to work.
Mm-hmm.
Last night you had to work, full 12 hours, and I had to go do the patrol, which is 8 hours.
Yeah.
And, we're sick. Simple as that. We just, I'm pretty sure that's why the thing didn't get dropped, was because, you had the 12 hours you had to do. And, but it wasn't communicated to me that we weren't going to be able to do it. So that would have helped. Beard looks like I look like a jihadist with this, because I tried to trim it. Now it just looks weird, and it just looks weird, man. And I cut it all jacked up. So I don't want to get anybody sick.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I could get a haircut. but I'm not. I'm trying to be good and not get somebody sick and care about people's health, you know. So waiting to get some people in here. So tonight we got a lot to talk about. This is Wednesday. We always got a lot to talk about, but tonight we definitely do. There's a lot of stuff left over from the different shows. So this is kind of like a leftover show. It was going to be. But then I started paying bills today, or finishing up paying bills, because I've been sick and I had to catch up on a bunch of stuff, and it sucks. The new setup, no bueno. I can't do anything with the internet over there. So we got to get it, that fixed up. We have a lot of stories that are just sitting there needing to be told, and I have people just up my butt trying to say, hey, can you tell these stories? I told you, I gave you the story, blah, 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 blah. If you were the guy, I keep losing track of this one because I haven't moved it over, because you sent it to me on Messenger. If you're the one who hit the Lechusa with the truck, I know you know who you are. South Texas on a ranch, I believe. Please email me that, because I can't, the Messenger I can't keep up with that. If you're the person who had this is sounds so crazy. If you had the gargoyle thing on your roof, I believe it was Maine, Massachusetts, somewhere up northeast with an M, I believe, one of those. Maybe it was New Hampshire. I don't know. It was an M somewhere in there. You sent me a story. I can't find it. I'm telling you, I know you sent it to me. Please contact me. Email me. Okay. If you are the woman who from Louisiana who had the dogman creature come out of the swamp running alongside your vehicle, you know who you are. Please contact me. I don't have that. I cannot. Y'all send it to me on Messenger, and that's fine. That's completely fine. But I'm trying to put these together because I want to do one about the swamp just by itself. There's so many. I was going over this with Nelly the other day, and then me and Scorpio started having a conversation because people sent him stuff. And he goes, what do I do with this? I said, tell them to get in touch with me. And he said, they did. I said, well, then why didn't they get in touch with Anthony? He said, they did. What about Nelly? They did. So they went down the line. I said, so what are you, fourth, fifth string now? What are we doing here? So they're contacting him, Scorpion, Maddie, whoever they can. They're like, hey, PRT, wake up. Whatever. Don't contact Keem. He's a dead end. Him and Tony will be like, can I smoke that? They do a story in a paper? I'm joking. They're not that bad. They actually will go get their own papers or whatever. Well, Tony claims that he's detoxing. He's no longer inebriated from the devil's lettuce. I remain dubious on that. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Somebody says it. Nevia's Angel says, my dad shot one. It was in the air. It was crazy, freaky moment. You won't believe how many people claim to have shot dogmen, Bigfoot. There's a lot. I mean, a whole lot. I mean, there's so much of this stuff. Like, I don't understand these people. Like, I just can't get people's story. No, you can't tell their stories what it is. That's what you stop lying. You got plenty of people you can talk to. There's a lot of people who you just don't know how to interview people, or you don't know how to retell people's encounters. Well, I'm not a storyteller. Well, then what the F are you doing? Oh, boots on the ground. That's what it is. Yeah, because I don't know how to do shit else. Yeah, everybody wants to see that. After about 4 or 5 of those, you're like, okay, yeah, wandering around your property with, boots on your ground, on the feet, whatever the F you're doing. Because you ain't finding shit. Because you know why? I think a lot of these encounters, folks, and this is just the prelims here, so don't get excited, but I think a lot of this stuff is by chance. Not really chance. I don't think it's chance, but it's like when it chooses to be seen or appear to people, because sometimes I think people just see it, and they're not the cryptids themselves, the beings, are not expecting you to see them. And then other times they're letting you see them because they want you to get a full dose of whatever the hell it is they're cooking. That's scary too, because you'll have people who will see it and then they'll see it again and again. Why are they seeing it again? Because this thing's letting you know, I'm here. I now know that our new house has got something going on. I'm not going to speak too soon, but I'm pretty sure it's not malevolent like the old, because, when you hear something walking up the stairs, and I say that something because if somebody opens the door, there's a you can hear the beep 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 beep, beep whatever.
Yeah,
You know,
chime.
yeah, the chime. So me and Nellie are laying there in bed a couple nights ago, and it was early in the night because we were just about to get up and go do whatever, and I was just taking a break, just trying to rest my back. I feel like crap, and you know, there's not sleep. It's just you're just resting. You can't sleep because you won't be able to get up. And so I hear this noise, and it's like boom, 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 coming up the stairs. Of course, I'm armed. You know, I'm like, I have 2 guns, one for each. I got like 30 of them. But anyway, I got them. And I said, look, man, you're going to die if you're a person. But I was like 99% sure that it wasn't a person. Because when I used the restroom downstairs one night, you and Nellie had gone outside, Anthony. Y'all were outside with Richard.
Mm-hmm.
Richard is my cousin's husband who's been helping us. So I just basically call him my cousin. So y'all were outside talking to him. I think Tony, I think everybody was there, but y'all were all outside. Nobody was in the house. And I heard something sliding across the floor. And I'm like, okay. So we got that going on here too. But I don't feel like today I was on the computer and I felt like there was something there in that room that we're using for the study, like the makeshift study for right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't feel anything heavy. Or like sometimes in the old place, I would feel like I'm alone, but you could tell you're not alone. And whatever that was making sure that you knew that it was there. This is not showing itself to you. This was different. It was like, is this there? And I think that it can come to life if you give it energy. And there's ways to know that it's there, but not give it that power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but there's definitely something there. Like I heard something against the wall in the bedroom, and I thought, oh, it's one of the animals. No, because right now none of the animals are with us. So, you know, can't say that. So I don't know what it is, but there's something there. And it's probably that way in every place you go. I mean, there's going to be stuff. There's going to be something there, and you're just going to have to become accustomed to it. I mean, I've done that. Everywhere I've worked, I've felt things and seen things. And other people will go to those same places and feel nothing. And then some people, because I'm kind of in between, other people will go to those places and they can't stand it. They can't breathe. Like I've been around places where it's haunted, but it's just like, oh, well, it's just there. And I'll work with people who are just like, I can't deal with this place. I can't breathe. I feel like I'm going crazy. You know, they have all these problems. And I'm like, I know it's there. And then there's other places where I'll go and I'll see stuff and I'll hear stuff, even smell stuff. And the people that are working there besides you,
Mm-hmm.
they don't notice anything. They're like, oh, I see nothing. I hear nothing. But I'm sort of in between. Like, so if I'm noticing it, it doesn't mean that it's really strong because I can pick up on things that aren't even that strong. So I'm not a really good barometer for that, I guess, you know. But some people, they're real sensitive. They pick up on everything. And I've worked with people like that. And you're just like, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that. I'm sorry. I don't know what you're talking about. I know that there's something there. Like Rio Lotto. It was very haunted.
Oh, yeah.
But Zane, you know, he's a lot more spiritually like aware. Like if it's there, he would see it or hear it over me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was there and he was noticing something. And then we had a guy that worked for us named Gabriel. Remember Gabriel?
Yeah.
And he was very aware. So like everything that Zane was saying, he told me in Scorpio. And then Scorpion's like me, almost even, you know, like he'll notice it or he might not. Like, you know, just because I don't notice it doesn't mean it's not there. I'm not the best at that. Now, I'll know that it's there, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to see or hear it. I'll feel it. Because like I'll walk into a spot, I can tell because I'll feel it like the hair standing on my, you know, and I'll be like, oh, okay, I know you're there. But are you going to appear to me? Maybe, maybe not. But most of the time, they don't come show themselves to me. They don't. They have their reasons too. And I know what they are. I don't blame them because I wouldn't do it either. Because I'm not going to tolerate you. I'm just not. They want to show people who are too afraid or intimidated and they'll just give them their energy, give up their energy and not fight with them.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I will absolutely 100% confront you, whether I'm by myself or with others. You know, I'd prefer to have someone there to help me, back me up, but I'm not going to back off if I'm by myself. And in fact, it's even better because for me, I don't want somebody around me getting hit with whatever they got because they'll go after other people. These entities, they'll go for the weaker, you know, so they can get that energy. If they can climb on you, they will, if you let them. But you got to set boundaries, dude. I don't know why people do that. They'll live in a house full of stuff happening and they're just like, I don't know what to do. And you're like, aren't you with Christ? Well, yeah. I mean, then you call on him. It's a no-brainer, man. Well, I don't want to make it worse. It's going to get worse if you don't. That's the trick. You know, they trick you into thinking that they have this like ultimate power just because they can hide. Being able to hide doesn't, you know,
it's more of a parlor trick.
Yeah. That's why they're called the hidden ones. Because that's what they do. They hide. So what we got tonight, we got several stories. So I started going over some encounters that Nellie wanted me to tell because I had them for a while. And she's like, tell those, you know. She likes these ones where people are seeing stuff in their yard. And so I don't know if you heard the conversation the other day. You were with us when me and Nellie were already talking about it when we left the house. But I know you probably caught the tail end of that. And it was, yeah, Cryptid Commission, it is. It definitely is. But they all are. I mean, really, not all of them, because it depends on the cleanse, you know. But there's something there. And it's adjusting to us being there. It's moving around. It's made its presence felt. I thought I saw something in my mind's eye when we first looked at the place, but it didn't feel malevolent.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Nellie saw something dead on. But she didn't. It was like when you're living in that other place, what is that? That ain't nothing, dude. It's like I got the creeps this morning when I went downstairs and I was in the kitchen. And it felt like something, you know, but I just kind of looked around and, you know, was ready to confront it and I never really did anything. So I was like, okay. But there could be more to come down the road. You don't know. As you get more adjusted to it. And other people will come around and they'll start to notice it because we haven't had really heavy psychic people in there, you know.
Yeah.
Eventually there will be people that we know very well who automatically can tell you what it is and where it's at. Yeah, Shade, how you doing, man? He says that spider sense feeling is real. It is, buddy. Let me tell you. So there were stories that we got of people seeing things in public, and then people's stories of seeing things in their yard. And I thought, what a contrast, you know, because you're out and about. Imagine this, you know, you're out and about. And once we hit 300, we'll start talking about it. Imagine you're out there going to the Walmart or the Sam's or Costco, whatever place I hate Costco. I go to both, but I like Costco's selection. I don't like the people that work there. They act real stuck up and entitled. And you're like, really, dude, you're working at a Costco. Calm down. Okay. You're not a superhero yet.
I wouldn't be happy to work there either, though.
But that lady was telling you what to do the other day. I was like, that's their job. She had you doing their job. And I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm a manager here. I'm just on break. And I was very rude at that point because she was being rude to us. And I said, ma'am, I don't give a F what you are. And I turned right around. And she made it a point with one item to put the little stick, wasn't it?
Yeah, the little divider.
I was like, there's nothing here. We had two items. A stick for nothing. You follow the rules. You are a rule follower, and you are doing an amazing job at following rules. You stupid ass. Keep doing that. Keep following those rules. You make the world a better place for yourself. Not for the rest of us. And nobody cares to hear all of what you were complaining about, lady. I'm used to this shit. I mean, she looked like somebody like, you know, I grew up people like that. Aunts, cousins, you know. She's Hispanic. Got that energy. I'm the boss. I'm jefita.
Yeah, Hispanic women
I
like to
don't
be in
give a
charge.
F what you are. I don't care. They love being little miniature Napoleons or
Well, we're a pretty matriarchal culture.
and she was trying to tell me what to do. And I looked, I was like, are we married? Are you my mama? My abuelita. No, you're not. See, you're not even a prima. You ain't shit to me. So stop bossing me around and tell me what to do, lady. I'm in here for 10 minutes and I'm gone. Enjoy your life at Costco. Congratulations. Are you the employee of the month or year or whatever the Beth? It just kept on. And I'm like, shut up. And I told her, I don't give a F what you are. Like I said, 10 minutes, I'm out, I'm gone. You can rule the whole Costco. And there was a guy there a few months ago. He was a little asshole, blew that vape, bubble gum and farts or whatever it is that they vape, and his breath stunk, and he blew it right in my face. Bald-headed, jihadist-looking dude. Hispanic, too. He wasn't there, but he looked like a jihadist. But he did that to me, and he was yelling at my wife. This woman zipped around her and almost hit somebody. And my wife was like, what the F? She's going to park. And she didn't even feel like going in because there's such a hassle. So I was like, I'll run in and get what we need. And this guy runs over there and starts like bitching at her. He doesn't say anything to the woman that nearly hit the people walking. And I went up to him and I said, thank you, T-Toy, for that donation. We appreciate it. I said, is that really necessary? Yes, it is. And I'm like, how the F you going to sit there and blow that shit in my face? And then it kind of escalated too. I was like, dude, look, man, you're a effing asshole. You just blew that shit in my face, dude. And there's cameras everywhere, so I can't do nothing. So I was going to tell you what I think of you. I said, are you the main manager? No, there's somebody above you. I don't know if it does any good to complain. I don't know. But that guy, he's got another piece of my mind coming when I see him out and about. Because he's always up there, little a-hole. And so I hate going in there. I've had my cousin have a problem in there. I've had my uncle. It may just be that particular Costco because I've never had problems with the other ones. That one there, though, they got some people with attitude. Like they don't want to be there. And it's predominantly Indian people that go in there, I guess. And they are always being aggravating, it seems like. I don't know. It seems like it seems like it, right?
Yeah.
They're always fussing or whatever. But the people that work there are real pieces of work, man. So shame on you, Costco. You're a turd. You're a turd, and everybody that works there is a damn turd. The only people that have been cool are the girls that work at the front.
Yeah, the customer service area.
Yeah, and then the one guy that was there, he was cool. Everybody else on the floor has been complete nightmare. Well, no, there was one guy that helped us. One guy. He had tattoos all over his arms and everything, and he was cool. I don't judge people for their tattoos or whatever, but But imagine though, if you go into Sam's, can be a real nightmare too. It can be a complete butthole there. It's hit or miss. But imagine if you went into one of these places, and I'm not going to say which one it was, down in Houston. And this is our first story of the night. Imagine going in there just to shop, and you come out with your whole world changed. That would suck, wouldn't it? You're like, what in the hell am I dealing with?
Scary enough just going in there.
It's bad
I hate
enough.
that place.
So gifting those memberships, Alan Garcia, thank you. Put your name in green so you can be entered into the contest that's going on tonight. For the hoodies, we have the next 10 people ready to go. And so imagine going into this place, one of these, and It's nighttime. And it was pretty busy. And this young lady, she goes into the restroom. And she goes and she sits down and she told me the whole story. It was very, very, very weird. There was someone in the stall next to her. She knew that because she grabbed that door first. So she moved over to the next one. And while she's sitting there, you know how when you sit in a toilet stall, I try not to use the bathroom in public. Sometimes you got to. It sucks, man. You got to clean it and whatever. If you're me, and, you know, I can't just sit down. I don't know where the hell,
Yeah.
you know, these people have been and what they've done. I don't care if it's a little piece of paper or whatever. It's not good enough. You sit down, and you can still see stuff in between these doors. You know, so she sits down and she sees somebody crawl by. They didn't walk; they crawled. And she was like, "I just saw a man." Now, this is the age of not knowing what gender you are, so it's you know, well, I'm going to go in there where the girls are at. I don't know whether I'm a guy or a girl.
I'm a girl today.
I'm a girl. Look at these boobs. That's what you are if you're a baboso. If you don't know, if you can't look down and go, oh, okay, it's an outie.
You want me to babysit your kids? My name's Tiffany.
This is Sarah. Can I take care of your children? How are the children? Check on the children. I'll check the children. I'm a children checker. Whatever. Anyways, let's not offend the weirdos and the 0.00006% of the population.
Oh, God forbid. God forbid.
Let's let the majority suffer for their sicknesses. Right? Let's endure for them. Come on, people.
Because they're the real heroes.
They're the real heroes. So hug it in, hug it out, hug it in, hug it out.
They're brave enough to be weird.
Yeah, they're brave enough to be pervs. So this guy, she thinks, is a perv. She's like, there's a man crawling on all fours, probably looked into the stall next to her because she's like, here's this audible gasp. And she's like, I hear this woman gasp. She's like, this is right before I see the man or whatever it was crawl. She remembers seeing red and black. That's it. So she doesn't know what else. And then she saw blue jeans. Then this thing, whatever it is, goes back the other way. She can hear hands slapping on the pavement. And this guy was crawling. Right? Crawling. Then he stops and she can see like his rear end and he's got pants on and his legs. And the head was down and obviously looking into the woman next to her stall because she hears her scream, blood curdling scream. And it's just them two in the restroom. It's just them. So she's not exactly sure what's going on. And she's like, are you okay? Ma'am, are you okay? And she starts to yell at the guy. And she says, you need to stop staring at, get out of here. You sicko. And she hears this like grunting, kind of growling noise. And then he stands up and goes running out of the bathroom. The woman next to her is freaking out, screaming, crying, you name it. She goes, I got out of there real quick. And the woman finally came out of the stall. She didn't want to open the door. And I said, ma'am, open the door. She's like, I was going to go get help. Then another woman came in and I told her what was going on. And we stood there by the stall. And finally, when she came out, she opened the door and she was like, oh my God. And she was hysterical. She almost fell over. She couldn't even walk. So this is what happened. They go out there, they talk to customer service, they get the security goes, and then they're like, give me a description. Two pretty big guys that she said they looked like they needed to be doing security. That's good. That helps. They look like security guards. They go and they do their job. They go with one of the managers. Then the manager starts talking to them, one of the assistants, and says this. She was very forthcoming. She said, this is not an isolated incident. She's like, we need to find this person because this has happened before. She said, this is the third time in 2 months. This person has done this. But they can't seem to locate this person on camera. They take the woman into the security area where the security is. They come back from their little hunt. They don't find anybody. They go and they look at the camera. They see what looks like, and this doesn't surprise me, a quick blur, like somebody runs by, but it just looks like a gray image. These are color, right? But this looks like gray. Thank you for that donation, Shade. So this thing, guy, I don't know what it is. Predator runs into the woman's bathroom, crawls around, which I guess, depending on the establishment, but that's a very large chain retail store. You can't say, I don't know what their policy is, and I have not called them to find out. I will say this. It was not Costco. It wasn't them. Oh, Holly Jean says she received her PR t-shirt. Good. Good thing. Give me 1 second. So I need to call them and find out what their policy is. Just so I can know for myself. Because, I don't want to go into the wrong bathroom because I'm that stupid. You go in there, you're like, let's go to the woman's bathroom. That's where I need to be. That's where I go to pee. They need to have that dude from the Dateline, Nightline, whatever he comes out. Excuse me.
Oh, Chris Hansen.
Why are you in here? Are you a sicko? No, I was crawling around on all fours, just being a weirdo.
To catch a cryptid.
To catch a cryptid. Good evening, folks. I'm Chris Hansen. To catch a cryptid here. Man elongates his limbs and crawls around on all fours. When you try to camera on him, turns into a swirling milkshake of gray. What a sicko. So this guy does what he does 3 times in 2 months at the same location. And they can't catch this guy. The description, though. This is what did it. This is what got me going. I have got to tell this story. We were on patrol the other night, Anthony. I told you. I said, check out this one. Oh, my gosh. And this one was sent by, we'll call her Sally, because that's her name. But anyway, in Houston. Crazy. So what happened? Sally hears an incredible tale from this woman who she became friends with, and they actually now go to the same church. She invited this young lady to go to church with her and her husband and her kids. And now her and her boyfriend go there. It's neat how that works. But here's what happened. When she was sitting there on the stall, she saw the same thing Sally did. A man walked by, but she saw a man on 2 legs, and then she heard a flop, and then it ran back towards her side, and then back the other way. A little different, because Sally was like, that's not what it seemed like he walked in on all fours. Mm-hmm. So they're not real. Their memories are a little bit different. Same end result, though. This thing crawls up underneath the stall and looks up at her. She told Sally, she's like, when she looked down at this thing, this guy, this whatever it was, the only way she could describe it, she said, that he had little horns, brown skin, and it looked like two horns, like the devil. And his tongue was coming out. He was flicking his tongue out like, real long. Like the lead singer of Kiss. What's his name?
Gene Simmons.
Gene Simmons. So I told her, I said, it sounds like Calibos from the original
Clash of the
Clash of the
Titans.
Titans movie from like 1980.
Yeah, he was.
And she's
ugly.
like, I wasn't. She goes, I'm sorry, I've never seen it. And she goes, I wasn't even born yet. I said, yeah, I know. She was like born in 1985. I said, okay. I was a little bitty when I saw it the first time. It was creepy. I always thought he was so ugly. So I sent her a picture of it. And I said, take that to your friend at church on Sunday. I sent it to her last Friday. Messages me back on Monday. She said, yeah. She said that her friend put her hand over her face and was like, oh my gosh, that's almost what I saw. Not exactly, but yeah, it was in the ballpark of that. So I got that part. Because just going by the description, that's what I thought. I thought, this is Calibos.
Yeah.
Look what you've done to me. I did all these horrible things and I was held accountable to this shit. And now look at I don't have a hand. I have a spork or a fork. I don't know what this is. I tried it or something. I can't even eat yogurt. Ah, damn it. Ah, I just wanted to kill all the Pegasus. Why? Oh, with all the nasty little teeth. Mother! Mother! She's like, oh, my son, my poor baby who did nothing wrong but kill a bunch of innocent animals. I'll get revenge for you. I'll start a terror campaign to ease your suffering. You poor, pernicious piece of shit. Thank you, mother. Yeah, thank you. Evil lying prick. Did he have a YouTube channel by chance? I'm sure he did. Check out my show. I talk shit about everyone else all the time. Like, geez. Calibos something, boy. But his mother, apparently she was hot. Mama got mad. She's like, I'm the most beautiful witch over here. Now you got to give up your daughter to some reptilian from the ocean, Leviathan. I always thought that was so disgusting. Calibos over there crying. Yeah, I can't cut my head off. I shouldn't have been doing what I was doing, but now I'm crying. It's always like that too. And Mama's gonna take care of it. I nursed them with these, Lord. Little baby Calibos.
Those mama's boys are the worst.
I'm gonna take care of you, baby. And they're like, what? I'm sitting there going like, why is this even a thing? I was a kid and I was like, Mom, look at how much nicer she is to her son than you are to me. He's a demon.
It's a good way to get a butt whooping.
I didn't say it. But I thought it. I was like, surely this lady's not going to just like help him out after all the bullshit he did. Oh, she's doing it. You got to give up your daughter to a demon, a sea demon. Damn. Leviathan comes out. You're like, goofy looking. Claymation just ain't working for me. But then Perseus holds up the Gorgon, Medusa. Turns it into stone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. Anyway, that's a little sideline into a movie that you might be interested in. I don't know. The original Clash of the Titans movie. Same year as Flash Gordon. Another great film. Both of them really good. And you had those two, and you had Empire Strikes Back. Amazing movies. Pretty cool. It was a great year. That little time period there was really cool. We had these humongous laser discs that my dad and mom's families, friends or friends of the family.
Yeah.
And they had these, and so we got to go over there and watch like two of them. And then the next night we went back and watched another one. And I was like, man, this is awesome. Summertime, and we got to go. I don't remember if it was 81. I think it was 81 because it was like they had already come out and then the discs had come out, so they were old already. But I hadn't seen them because we couldn't afford to go to the movie. We were poor.
Yeah.
So we were over there watching them, and it was like, wow, this is awesome. And so I was like enthralled. I was like, wow, these movies are crazy. I never dreamed in a million years that 40 years later, 45 years later, I'd be listening to someone tell me they saw that shit. I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, God, I'm glad that thing doesn't exist. Didn't know that it did. Didn't know that he was crawling around in bathrooms on all fours either. But here's the thing. The woman had nightmares about this thing for a while. At one point, she had she called it a waking nightmare, where she sat up in bed and something was by the window, and she walked over to the window, kind of in this weird dreamlike state, and she opened the curtain, and there he was. The devil, if you will. I remember one time, Lyle came on the show, Lyle Blackburn, and he was talking. I said, because he had told me in private one day about this really weird story that he was given by some people. And they described it in this park, and I believe it was somewhere in Fort Worth. And they described like a devil-like being, It was weird. He's like, these people saw the devil, as they would call it. Thank you for that donation, Sugar Britches. We appreciate it. Hope you're doing good. I would not, there was a story I got out of Tennessee near a park, not a state park or a national park. It was just a park outside of Nashville. And these people claimed to see the devil. Same thing. It was a couple, and they were just wandering around, or it was just wandering around, and they saw this thing that looked like its head was too big for its body, but it had these really long legs. The head and the legs were really out of proportion to the midsection, and there was a short midsection with these long arms, but the legs were just weird. And when it turned around, they realized when they were seeing it from behind, they didn't get a good look at it. The legs were the backward bent legs. Yeah. But the feet looked human, but they just looked stretched out. And this happened like back in the late 70s. And this was a story that was given to me. This woman was giving me a story. She said my dad or her stepdad had a really weird encounter with something with her when she was a baby, and her mother was dating this guy. And they were at a park, and she was being babysat by her grandmother. And she's like, they talked about it multiple times over the years. So she threw that in there as a little extra story. But I've heard this before. But the face, when it turned around, it looked like the devil. And she even gave me a description. I said, what is the closest you can come to? And, like what you think it was. And so she talked to her stepdad, who's still, our mother was no longer with us, unfortunately. But the stepdad told her, he still remembered. Guy's in his late 70s. He's like, dude, I remember. And he said there was recently on like a show on one of these channels. I think he's talking about what's it called? Black phone?
Oh, yeah.
I think that's what he's talking about. He saw a picture of a guy wearing a mask, and it was about some phone or something. And that's all he could really remember because he hadn't seen the movie. And so I think that's what he was talking about. So I told her that. I said, well, maybe that's what it is. But here's the thing. In that same park, when she was a baby, of course, she don't remember that because she wasn't there. She had her own encounter with something in that park, like 10 years later, when she was like 12 years old. She was riding her bike with a couple of friends, a couple of boys and another girl. And she said that we were running around and we went down in this creek and we were throwing little rocks, skipping them across. And she's like, I threw this rock and I heard it thud something. And she goes, and I looked, she goes, I didn't have real good eyesight. She's always had bad eyesight. She's like, I look across the stream and there's a foot. And there's this tall grass you couldn't see. But she's like, I could see that there was like a foot sticking out because it moved. And then it went back down. She's like, so I kind of focused on that. And I told my friends, I said, hey, can y'all see what I'm looking at? So they look across the stream, and there is this man, well, being, cryptid, I don't know what the hell it is, laying there. And it pops up. This is not a devil head looking being. The foot belonged to some kind of canid headed looking, upright, tall. It jumped up and it kind of like got down on like in a runner's stance, kind of like how they kind of lean back before they go forward. And then she's like, this thing jumps up like it's getting ready to run a marathon looking at us. Completely just aberration. Like it had like this wolf-like head, man's upper body, not a bunch of fur or hair even. It wasn't even that hairy. The hands were weird. The fingers were elongated. The legs backward bent, weird looking dog-like legs. But the head was like, almost looked like a man wearing a mask, like a head, like a helmet or something on its head that was just, it looked like a perfect mask. The problem, though, was that its arms and legs were severely deformed if it was a human. The humanness of it made you think, oh, it's a person wearing a big head, wolf head. That somehow is like makeup, special effects, the best you've ever seen. Because I think this was like, you know, she was just a kid. And I think it was 1989 or something like that. She was just a child. Yeah. This guy, whatever it was looking at her, brown fur on its head, light hair on the body. She said very light. And he wasn't wearing clothes. And she was like, he was just there looking at us. The eyes were very human-like. And she said that it was squatted down. And she's like, she goes home and she tells her parents, they all just got on their bikes and went screaming out of there, running in a different direction. It didn't pursue them. It went off into the woods. When she told her parents looked at each other and they were like, her mom was making dinner. Dad had just got home from work. Her stepdad, but calls him her dad. And he was like, oh my gosh. So that evening, a pair of people come over to the house. And it's her aunt and uncle, her dad's brother and his wife. And they started asking her questions about what they saw. Because apparently they had seen something in that park too. Because it was like a lover's lane there until the cops started just always being around, and then they kind of quit going there. So when they were young, they saw something there that looked like that. But it's weird because her parents saw something that had a devil head with like horns. So was it a person wearing masks that had really deformed arms and legs? But the devil head looking thing that her parents saw didn't have the same body as what she saw. What they saw, her and the three other kids, just had a normal man's physique, other than the arms and legs were weird. You know, I don't know. Yeah, Carrie said, what does the devil look like? The original was red with little horns and a narrow pointed tail. It became the goat when the Christians pushed to take over Italy and Greek. It became like Pan. Yeah. I don't know. Like a little devil's head. But what if this thing that they saw was more goat-like? And so you have basically goat man and dog man out there. Her dad was pretty sure that it wasn't goat-like. What her mother and her stepdad saw was not goat-like. It didn't have hooves. So I don't know. But, you know, you go out to a place like that and you're like, well, it's probably, you know, I mean, if you're going to have an encounter, if you're going to see something, it's probably going to be somewhere like that, right? You would think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be like completely shocked. I'm just, especially knowing what we know.
Mm-hmm.
You're in a wooded area. The devil walks out and, hey guys, whatever. You're like, oh, God, this guy. But you don't expect this to happen in a bathroom, right? At a retail store. That's the weird thing. That's what gets my goat. Pun intended. Pan intended. And not bread. So, what do you think we were dealing with here? You have a woman that sees Calibos. Let's quit calling it that because that's making a joke out of it. But she sees something that looks like the guy from Clash of the Titans in the bathroom looking at her. You have these people who see this thing, right? In Tennessee. I don't know. So the woman that saw the Calibos looking dude, she saw him again and again. She saw him on her stairs.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. But it's definitely a real thing because Sally saw it too. That is the creepy part right there. Hang on. Work stuff. Thank you for that, Holly Jean, and hope you're enjoying your merch. During Mardi Gras, probably there's so many different stories that we get and that we retell or people tell, whatever. There's no way I can't remember which one it was. I remember there was a story that I got and I told it on the show of what looked like a carnival. It looked like a clown. But it was like the person saw that it was a werewolf looking creature wearing a clown mask. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like real furry, like hairy underneath. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
He was like, dude, unless this guy was pulling off an amazing trick of wearing two different masks. But it looked like he was disguising himself with a clown face. The old, I'm a werewolf hiding behind a clown mask trick.
Gets him every time.
Gets him every time. I'm telling you,
Mm-hmm.
it changes. It changes into a werewolf. It's so hard to wrap your mind around this. So here's another one. Consider this. These people, this happened to them here in Austin. This was a very creepy story. I got this one courtesy of Lucas, who I have not told your story yet, Lucas. But he says, my neighbors, when we first moved in, I was a kid. And he's like, we were living in this neighborhood. It wasn't here in Austin. It was actually in Round Rock. But he goes, we were living right there on the border of Round Rock, Austin. And he goes, the neighborhood was at that time when I was young in the 90s. He goes, there was a distinction between Round Rock and Austin. And this was like right kind of in the middle, and that neighborhood was not all grown up like it is now. It was as far out of Round Rock as you could go without being out of the city limits, put it that way. And he says, as the cities grew together, there was no distinction between one and the other. They just kind of run right into the other. Round Rock is a very large suburb of Austin. And so he said, dude, you ride your bike, and he goes, and you go in, you end up on these, like uninhabited streets. The houses on the neighborhood adjacent to ours, he goes, we're like on these like half-acre plots. And people had these really big acres, some of them were like almost a full acre. And he goes, and there were a lot of people with like double wide trailers. It's not there now. And this was in 91. And he said that his neighbors at that time, they had a nice big house, big 4-bedroom house. And he said that they told him a creepy story when he was a kid. They became lifelong friends because the girl was his age and there was a son that was 2 years younger than him. And so they all became good friends. He said my older brother even started dating the girl, because he was 2 years older than her. And so it was like 2 years, 2 years, 2 years, kind of like how it was. And so it was kind of neat. And he goes, we grew up, and the people on the other side, they had some kids that were just about a little bit older than us. And we all were friends. We got along. They had a pool. All the neighborhood kids would go and play, whatever. He said, in one summer, we're all swimming and playing and whatever. It was a summer after we'd moved in. And he's like, and one of the girls that lived next door, he goes, she told a really weird story. She said, when we first moved in, it was like the second or third week we were living here. And it was 2 or 3 years before that, then they moved in. And the houses were new. And the people that moved into their house, they got together, and then I guess there was some infidelity. So the guy, he worked at the bank. And so he promptly got divorced. And so he stayed there for about a year by himself. And then he sold the house and moved out. So they were the second family to live there. But he goes, I'll never forget. He's like, the neighbors next door. He's like, she told a creepy story. We were all sitting on the pool. There was about 7 or 8 of us kids. And he's like, and I'll never forget her telling, he's like, I said, look, Mom, there's something outside on the bench. They had this like a bench that they would go and sit on, like a wooden bench, And the mother gets up and looks out the window, and she sees it too. And so they look at each other, and they look, and then the son walks up, and he looks, and he's just a little kid, at that time. And he was like, what is that? But he's not a little tiny kid. He's like 8, 9 years old, but he's little, And so he runs down the stairs to go confront it. And so she's like, no. The mom starts getting onto him. The girl goes down there to catch her brother to stop him from potentially being hurt by whatever this is, He's like, my aunt goes down there, my cousin. And she's like, we're all going outside. Dude, is that what this is? Dude.
Duke.
Oh, Duke. Okay. And so anyways, welcome to the chat, Duke. So they go downstairs and they see this creature. The mom was screaming, don't go down there. The thing, the way I could describe it was like a mothman type creature. The thing turned its head all the way around and it just had big red eyes. Ooh. Big red glowing eyes looking up at her. She screams, don't go down there. They all run outside. This thing takes off flying. The legs come down. These are human legs. Human-like. Black. Inky, solid black. As it flapped its wings going into the sky, its head was still turned around backwards, like an owl. Big red eyes looking at him. Swirls of smoke going up into the sky. He's like, I was curious. I didn't believe it. Luke was like, I didn't believe in this. He goes, I went and I asked her mother when we got back over there to our side of the neighborhood. I said, hey, her name was Janet. He's like, Janet, is this real? You got to tell the truth. You're a teacher. He thought that she was a teacher. She would tell the truth. And she goes, well, I don't want to scare you kids. And she's like, but ask your mom. He's kind of confused by that. So he goes back and he asks his mother. His mother had actually grown up with this woman. They actually had gone to school together. He says, Mom, Janet told me to ask you about this, what they call the lechusa. And she says, kind of aggravated. She's like, kind of puts me on the spot, She's like, I really didn't think it's, I didn't want to tell you. Who told you? She says, well, the neighbor girl. He goes, She's like, well, okay. So they go to the store. They ride together. And she says, when we were 11 and 12 years old, me and Janie, they called her. She's like, me and Janie, we snuck out of the house and we took her dad's truck. And they lived on the other side of Round Rock. She's like, we were driving and we get to the railroad tracks and we get stuck on the railroad tracks because we couldn't drive a stick shift. It was just two girls.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, and we see this weird red light coming towards us. She's like, and this black thing flapped its wings over the truck. Once it passed, she's like, we were able to get the truck and move it off of the railroad tracks. Nothing happened. There wasn't a train. Nothing came, but the train did run, and it was scary. She's like, we're always told, be careful with the train tracks, you know. And she's like, and we were there on the train tracks. She goes, and then all these years later, I've still never seen another one until Janie and her kids and her sister saw that sitting on their porch, you know,
Mm-hmm.
on a bench.
Did
So,
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
go ahead.
I was going to ask, did anything bad happen after that?
Yes. Yeah, in fact, her dad, who was working, he was working at a power plant. In fact, he worked at the same power plant my dad did. He fell 2 stories and broke his back a week later. And was on disability for like 5 years.
Mm.
Eventually was able to work again. Because back then, men were tough. Like, oh, I'm not going to just stay on disability like a bitch. I'm going to go and work.
Yeah.
And if you're on disability, I'm not saying you're a bitch. I'm just saying that he was able to work, so he did.
Yeah.
He had fused vertebrae, but so do I. So he lived. He wasn't paralyzed. But he always wondered, and he even confided in this guy, Lucas's dad, that he thinks it was something, you know, evil. Because for 4 or 5 years, however long, it was almost 5 years, that he struggled. He was having nightmares about these glowing red eyes. And he didn't even see it. It wasn't him. That was the second time that Janie had seen it. The first time, her father died. Her father died like 2 weeks after they had the thing that they saw by the railroad tracks. So, I don't know. And L Man says, the hell I will quit work ASAP. Who wouldn't? I'm just saying this guy had to go back to work because it wasn't paying enough to pay the bills. And they nearly lost their house. But Lucas's story is not going to be told tonight. His story, I can tell that one on Sunday if you want. It's a dog man story. And it is bizarre, but it's also scary as hell. And it happened to him and his family when he got older and he had a house of his own. And he was raising his family. And the dog man decides to show up, or werewolf, whatever the hell, skinwalker, whatever this bastard was, decided to show up and make its presence known and be a nuisance, terrorizing them and destroying things, including their animals. I hate when people try to reason, argue with me. Yeah, well, you know, a dog man's not going to hurt you. Do you love dogs and cats? And people, because it destroys them. It will. Mm-hmm. I get really aggravated with people. I get tired of this, the whole, you know, oh, they're not going to hurt you. They're not going to hurt you. What's wrong with you? Right? Just let it have a little bite.
Yeah.
All right. Just let a little nibble.
Just a morsel.
You got 2 arms. Stop being greedy. Give it a little bit of that arm meat. You know, just go on. Go take a little bite there. Go ahead. Dog man's like, okay. I am not a greedy dog man. I'm only going to eat the forearm. And I'll leave the connective tissue so that you can regrow. Going to have a nasty scar there, though. Just a dog man, not perfect. But thanks for believing in me, folks. Thanks for believing that I'm actually the good guy. Yeah, managed to pull that one off. Thank you. I'd like to thank the devil. Thank you, the super devil, and the super duper devil. for making all this possible. Thank you. He has his little trophy. See ya. Bigfoot comes up. He's like, I guess I'm next. Puts his glasses on.
Sponsored by Goldman Sachs.
I would imagine it would be kind of like this. Let me just do it real quick. Here's Bigfoot. He comes up. He's like, ooh. Bigfoot, not good. Speak words. Me write down the story here. Pulls out his phone. He's like, this has been a complex year. There have been a lot of challenges and a lot of things have come my way. But being the best Squatch I could be was on the top of my to-do list. And I feel like I have accomplished this mission. Kind of curveball there. You're like, whoa, hey. I didn't expect that.
And that's all he can say.
Bigfoot, you articulate very well. You wouldn't hurt anybody. All these people that write these books and talk on these shows, they're lying. They're lying. Those dragon-headed beings that bite people's heads off, they don't do that shit. They do not do that shit. You know what they do? They come out and they say, hey there, buddy. You want to be on a game show? You just won. We love humans. We love you. We're draconians. And we don't bite your heads looking for that sweet, delicious pineal gland. That is a dirty, horrible rumor started by the Republican Party. No, we don't do that.
Those pesky Christians.
Those people who voted for that guy. I mean, what's next? Huh? Balancing the budget? I mean, come on. We're getting a little carried away here. All right. I just get so tired being afoot and being big and just being made fun of and called names, lampooned on commercials, offering jerky and taking it away.
They always ask, where is Bigfoot? They never ask, how is Bigfoot?
Exactly. What about me? What about my needs? Huh? Haven't you heard the stories of us and our little families and how sweet we are? Just give us a little flesh. That's all we want. Just a little flesh, folks. Let's hug it out. Right? Show me and Dogman and Draco Reptile a little love. Huh? Please? Just a little love. Let me in your house. Right? If you're cold, I'm cold. That's all. That's all I want to do. I just want to eat your children. That's all.
Just a baby or two.
Just a baby or two. You can make more. You can make more. You're always making more. Little Nephilim love here. Come on. Huh? People say that we're these evil giants, that we're,
We need equality for Bigfoot.
Bill Hope, I don't know. Let's hope that's not true. They're not that stupid. But don't put anything past them. I'm just saying. Look, a little rub behind the ears. Exactly. That's all it is. Just one little love. Just like the creep, the pervy demon that runs up into the bathroom at the retail store. Just wants to look. Wants to take a little peek around. Just take a little peek around. What you got going up there, lady? Huh?
Oh, he don't bite.
You don't like Calibos? Look what they've done to me. I'm the victim here. So I caused mayhem and so what? Could be worse. Right? I'm just saying, right? Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
No, because it does get worse. It does. If you see Mothman, a.k.a. the Ohio Chalusa, to me is what it is. Right? Well, something bad could happen to you, like what happened in Vegas. We talked about that. I remember that story. Those people saw that Mothman-like creature.
Mm-hmm.
And while we can't really verify a lot of these reports, some people have claimed that the ones being talked about in Chicago, that there's not a lot of verification there. I don't know. That's what I was told. I'm not going to get into it with the people that were saying that these things were being reported to them, because there were a couple witnesses. But this whole big thing that was going on in Chicago, there's a lot of people, it's a controversial thing. Some people believe it is real, some people don't. I don't know. There are stories, though, that come out of every state. The problem, though, and I'll tell you what, a lot of the problem is if you stop and you really look at all these encounters, they don't put them together. That's the problem. We're still compartmentalizing a lot of things. And if it doesn't match a very specific description, then we say, well, that's not the Mothman. The Mothman has to look like yada, yada, yada. But these encounters do look very similar. Right? So anyways, consider this one. Another one. This one didn't happen here in Texas. This one actually did happen in Ohio. It happened outside of Cincinnati. And the people that this one happened to didn't see the Mothman sitting on a, I just called it that because I don't know what else it was. They had a bench too, like in their yard, but it was in the backyard, not the front. And it was one of those with the back, and then it has the seat, and there's like this open spot.
Mm-hmm.
It had a tail. Yeah. And there were some people, and they were playing games, video games, and they heard a noise. And these were children, well, young teens, children to me. The aunt that was babysitting them, she came out, and they said, look at this. So they go out to the back window where they were at, of the living area, and they see this creature with a tail. Now, the woman that got in touch with me on this one, she's a listener to the show. Thank you for sending this story. She was adamant that it wasn't furry. She said this was a tail. But it was, she said, if she had to choose, it would be more lizard-like, although she wasn't real sure that it was a reptilian per se. They stared at it from the upstairs window. She wouldn't let the kids go down and look. And like the oldest kid was like 15, and he was like, I'm strong. I can do things. I'm kidding. I don't know this kid, but I don't want to make fun of him. But she said he's kind of like disobedient.
Mm-hmm.
And the other kids kind of follow suit. They're all like, 2 or 3 years in age, younger. They're all brothers and sisters, 2 boys, 2 girls. The littlest one is a little girl. She's like 7. And she's like, let's go outside and do things. Let's see what this is. She's the like fire plug one that wants to go out and fight with it. Goes and grabs her dad's little miniature sword. She said it was like a big Bowie knife, almost as of a sword. She comes out with it, she can barely hold it. So I admire her spunk, wanting to go and fight. But not a good idea, because this thing stood up. They got tired of sitting, I guess. And it walked slowly at first. Then it turned around. That's when she saw its face. Didn't match anything. It had big, bulbous red eyes there again. But it didn't have a reptilian like scales. It just looked like it was black and sleek and smooth. And it just jumped over the wall real quick. The dog was back there, but it wasn't making a sound. And once this thing jumped over the fence, the dog ran up to the back door and started whining and crying and scratching at it. And she ran downstairs and let the dog in. Cat ran in too. So I guess they were hiding together, probably in the doghouse. At least that's what she thinks. But if you were an animal, right? I mean, like, what triggers these animals? Sometimes they're barking and going crazy, and then sometimes they lay down and hide like they're terrified. What causes the difference in the behavior? You're terrified. If you're an animal, you're terrified, but there's no reason why. The differences. Could you tell me why? What do you guys think? That's a good one. I like these. Here goes. Kes McIntyre. The amount of malice that emanates. Carrie says Ohio is creepy as F. Bill Hope says I live in Northeast Ohio, and I tell you it is. I've seen some creepy stuff out there. Yeah, Ohio and Pennsylvania can be both very mysterious and creepy. Don't that whole little heartland Midwest area, Indiana. Get some weird reports out of Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, Pennsylvania. That whole little Rust Belt, whatever.
Yeah.
You get these weird stories from these people, and then some people are like, they'll tell you the creepiest story that they've ever been told, and then they'll say, when you tell them that this is not unusual from where they're from, they're like, really? I've never heard anybody have this kind of experiences like me. Well, if it happened to you, it could probably happen to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are people who, when they tell you a story and you tell them, I don't have any precedent for that. At least it used to. You used to have that. There were people who would just be like, really? Because they think everybody's supposed to be having these experiences because it was so blatant to them.
Yeah.
Just because I don't have those stories from that particular place where you're from doesn't mean it doesn't happen. But even if it did happen to you and others weren't talking about it, that doesn't mean that it's not happening or it didn't happen to you. Because one thing you have to remember, and you got to understand, you need to accept this as a truth. These things will appear like my friends that were playing baseball at Hidalgo Park. And they saw that dogman creature just stand up and walk on its hind legs, talking in Spanish. It was speaking to another one. There were people all over the place that had just left that area. And they were shocked. There were still people in the parking lot getting in their cars as they were walking down the road, and this happened. And so people are like, how could that be? How could it be that people drive down the road and see a Bigfoot running across the road, standing there or just going into the bushes, and there are other cars going by? Because you want to believe that this kind of stuff happens in the deep, dark, spooky woods or in the swamps, because that's where it belongs, right? Why does it not keep its big, furry or lizardy, scaly ass where it belongs?
Or maybe we don't keep ourselves where we belong.
Exactly.
Keep encroaching onto more rural areas.
We keep going further and further in, and then we drive through these areas of the country all the time. I'm thoroughly convinced. This has happened to me multiple times, but one time I was over by Blackpool Bridge, and I got out to take a leak. And this happened to me before, over by Dogman Church. I knew it was probably not a good idea, but I had to go. And I'm not going to let some stupid cryptid stop me from using the bathroom. And I hear something through that shallow water down there that sounded like it was running on two legs, running toward me. Now, it may have been some prowler bum that decided to live in the water down there. I don't know. But I didn't stick around to find out. And think about this. How many times maybe in your life, I know in my life, we've come really razor thin close to having an encounter with something. Thank goodness you didn't, right? And then others are like, I want it. I want to have the encounter with that thing. I want to be, I want my head torn off. At least when I'm dying, before I go to hell, whoever they are, go to heaven, I want to be able to say I saw it. That's what's important. Yeah, it killed me. You go to St. Peter and he's like, so how did you die, young man? Okay, so I stopped to use the restroom. Thanks for calling me young man. I heard a noise down in the bottom creek. So naturally, I go and I pick up big, large rocks and begin to throw it down blindly into said creek. Well, one of them came flying back at me and just smack. And next thing you know, I'm seeing stars, and then I'm seeing you. Oh, really? The last thing I actually did get a glimpse of was a big furry monkey-like creature tearing my limbs off, eating my face, genitals, and my phalanges. Because those are the soft tissues that they like to chomp on, being primates and, at their base. St. Peter's like, well, that's a great story. See ya. Is that really how you want to go out? Do you want to be walking around out in the woods and 1 minute you're answering nature's call and the next minute you're a part of nature? I don't. I don't want to. Because there's so many people that do. They want that so bad. They want to be able to go out there into the woods and be molested by a dogman or a Bigfoot. I don't mean molested as in,
Yeah, like the word kind of actually means like bothered.
bothered. You don't need to be bothered. Not in the way that Chris Rock used it. His mother was mad. I told you not to go with Uncle, whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Told you wouldn't got molested. That's the bad one. You don't go with that one. That one, like you're mad at the kid, right?
Yeah.
If you know you got something like that in your family, why are you going to be tolerant of it? Just saying. It's just. Aranya says, better than living in fear. Well, not really. You don't got to sit in your house and be afraid. But you don't have to go out into the habitation of where these things live and be like, I'm here. Because this is the upside. If you're one of those people, here is the magical upside. You could be playing PlayStation 3 or 2 or whichever one it is, and then you look out the window with your aunt, Ruth, whatever, the little kid, decides to go grab a machete to go fight it. Because she's not afraid, right? What is that? You don't know what that is. And you're right there at your house. And guess what? They had neighbors on either side. They weren't in the woods. They weren't even in the edge of town. And this thing decided to take up residence for a little while on their comfortable, bench.
I like it here. I think I'll stay.
Exactly. So for the 500 people that are in the chat, do you go looking for this thing, or do you be aware that it's there? Because at any time it can be in your house, it could be outside your house, it could be anywhere. I think it's all a matter of right place, right time, or whichever, wrong place, wrong time. However you want to look at it. I know for me, I don't want to see another one. I saw one when I was 15. I'm good. We are so good now. Satisfied curiosity. I was talking to a Bigfoot researcher one day. I've told this before. And he's like, I don't believe in dogman. I said, well, that's good. I'm glad you got that luxury, man. That's awesome. I don't have that luxury. I don't have a choice. I was not given one. I was not asked, would you like to see this and know that it's real? Nobody came to me and said, hey, let's take a vote. I wasn't given an option. I wasn't given a choice. The millions of people who see these things, there's millions. I'm positive of it. There are millions of people around the world. But they weren't given a choice. Most of them now, some of them did choose to go out into these places where they've heard of them being and they had an encounter. But there's a lot of people who did not have a choice. They weren't given a choice. They didn't talk about it. Nobody voted on it. Nobody said, hey, you voted on this. No. Cryptid Commission says, it's my job. It's your job. Are you getting paid for it, Cryptid Commission? Is it really your job? Because I've never heard of professional Bigfoot looker. Now, I have heard of this. I have heard of a lot of people who just go out there looking for them and then tell everybody that they're a professional, whatever. What's a doodle? I don't. People are always like, there's no experts. That could be true. It might be, might not be. I think if you're somebody who's had a lot of habitation with those particular whatever they are, maybe you could be an expert at that. Doesn't mean that you can feel safe. You could have a bear for most of its life, and then one day you piss it off and it decides to just revert back to its wild nature. You're never really safe. Even a mentally stable person may just decide to bludgeon you to death. I mean, you don't know. People, they're like, there's nothing wrong with this guy. And the next thing you know, he flipped and he just became whatever. So you can't just sit there and live in fear. But I wouldn't be just running out there every chance I got looking for those things, because they'll come to you if and when they decide. Well, dogs do that. So my dog is so greedy, he'll eat my ramen noodles. Dogs will eat whatever you give them as long as it tastes salty. You know? They're not as big sweet eaters, dogs, because they like meat. They're meat eaters. Can't blame the little dogs. I mean, my pig will eat most vegetables. He don't like bell peppers.
Or onions.
Or onions. He'll go around them. But if you throw a bunch of different food on the ground, the dogs and cats will eat most of the carbs and protein. They won't eat the vegetables. But that's where Troubles comes in.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, he loves vegetables. He don't care. But he's picky about some things. He'll do that thing with his nose.
Yeah.
With his nose bouncing up and down. And then he'll smell the bell pepper. He'll go, and he'll back up. And he'll look at you too like, what are you doing? What is this shit? You know what I like. Why are you doing this?
Stop
You
wasting my
piece of
time.
shit. You think you're cool? You piece of shit? Watch what I do. I'm gonna explode all over the floor over there. Watch me now. Look at what I do. And he goes over, he'll look right at you too while he's doing it.
Yeah. Oh, you just bought this vinyl plank flooring, huh? Yeah, let me show you what I think about that.
Yeah. But if you are a person who is so inclined to go out and look for these things, be my guest. Just be careful and know that these things really do exist. Cielo says carnitas are delicious. Are you being cute? Come on now. That's my pig. Are you delicious? Cielo, don't lie. I mean, if I cooked you up real good. I mean, after you're unalived and then we drain your blood. Sizzling, popping. I bet you would make some really, really delicious carnitas. Probably with the pork skin. Pork, human, whatever. Long pig. I don't know. What do we call them, Anthony, in Spanish?
Chicharrones.
Chicharrones. Cielo chicharrones. I'll call my new company Cielo in honor of you. The Blue Cielo.
Brett says long pig carnitas. It's funny. I was just explaining to Adrian last night what long pig is. He didn't know.
Really?
Yeah.
Who?
Adrian.
Yeah. I thought that's what you're talking about. So Cryptid Commission says it's registered as a security company. I don't have my ace in the whole piece of equipment yet. So it's your job, though, to go out and look for cryptids? That would be an interesting job. But good luck with that. Because I'm not going out there just to look for those things. But every now and then we need to go out and do an investigation. That doesn't mean I really want to see one.
Yeah.
I'll just show you where they saw them. Don't mean we're going to run into one. You got to hope for the sake of seeing one. Yeah, like the show maybe. But me personally, do I really want to see one? No. Because I know what they are. What's that? What are they? Evil. So, and if you don't believe, you don't believe. But here's another one. This one happened to a guy at one of my favorite restaurants, one of my favorite fast food chains. I don't really eat fast food much anymore if I can help it. But every now and then, I have to. I mean, if it's just that's all you got, that's all you got. So you got to try to eat early so you don't have to go through that. But this place is called Something Burger. Let's just say that. I'm not going to say what it's called. It's a burger chain from here in Texas. And I don't eat it very often. Like I said, very rarely. But if I do want to eat a burger, that's probably if it's fast food. You know, there's a lot of burger places you can go get a burger that's good. You don't need to go to fast food. But if you have to, that's not a bad one. Not a bad choice. So I went into the restroom there the other night, and I know Anthony, you and Nelly had gotten y'all's food, and y'all were eating. I wasn't eating because I try to avoid it, but there was nothing else open, and so I went in there to use the restroom, and I came back out, and I told you guys, I was like, man, every time I go into the restroom, I think of this story. There was a guy who sent me a story, and this happened down in the Houston area too. I live in Austin area, but this one happened. Oh no, wait, this one happened in San Antonio. My bad. Sorry about that. There was another one in Houston, but it wasn't that particular chain, but it was a different story. But this one happened in San Antonio. What happened to this guy? If it happened to me, I think I would probably never use a public restroom ever again. It would probably freak me out that bad. He goes into the stall and he sits down to do his business. Immediately, what looks like an employee walks in. The bathroom has that crack, you know, where you can see, and it sucks because, you know, you use the bathroom in public, you know. Not many of them you get to just relax. They're made for you to just do your business and get out.
Yeah. You're
not there to hang out and homestead. So this person is looking through the mirror or through the crack, and they can see the mirror. They said, this is a very bad designed bathroom, you know. And he says in the mirror, he sees this person's face. When they took off their hat, they kind of did this with their hair, put their hands in their head, and they lifted up their head. He's like, what I saw in the mirror was not human. He said, I saw a goblin-looking creature with brown, swarthy skin. He's like, and it had pointy ears. He's like, the only thing I could describe it as, he's just a Hispanic guy. He said it was a duende. He said the person that walked in there had lighter skin and lighter colored hair. This thing's hair was black. It had darker skin, and it looked pointy-eared, goblin-like nose. And he said it looked like a duende. Now, for those of you who don't know, you're not of Hispanic descent, a duende is kind of like a goblin or an elf. It's diminutive. But this thing was tall. He said it was probably about 6 foot. And he said, dude, I wanted to open that door. I was done. I just sat there. Oh, this person grunted and groaned, throwing water on their face. Now, this person did not talk to me. We only corresponded. So I'm just reading basically to you what they said. Duke says, have you ever met Martin Groves? Yes. His encounter story is one of the scariest I've ever heard. Yeah, that he was at my first conference and my second one. And contrary to what one person says, they did not introduce me to that person. No. I met them at my conference. But there's a crazy roofer guy that goes around lying saying that he didn't know. Please ignore that man. That guy just says whatever comes to his head. Just ridiculousness. So please don't just, if you're new to the show or you don't know, just ignore that crazy person. That guy is an insane, crazy person. And yes, I'm still friends with Martin and Daryl Denton. Daryl's coming out with a new podcast. Congratulations to him. with
Okay.
Ron Moorhead. So I think it'll be a big hit. So, anyways, this guy sees in the mirror, and by the way, this guy's name is Mario of the Mario. But that's Anthony's first name. So he's looking in the mirror and he sees this creature. Finally, this thing goes out of the bathroom and he's like, what the hell? It's wearing a uniform. Like he works there. This thing works here. I say this thing. I mean,
It's good to know that they're inclusive in their hiring policies.
DEI hires,
Yeah.
for sure.
There you go.
Oh, you're from the underworld? What are your hobbies here? I'm like, got to fill in the blanks. Get the pen going. You know what's going on here?
We believe in equality here.
It says here that your address, like you live 6 miles within the earth. What's the neighborhood like there? What's the real estate? Hot? It's hot. Yeah. So you lava surf. Is this a thing? Is this what you people do down there? You right? Really? Yeah. Okay, cool. Stay busy. Idle mind is your master's workshop.
It's your father's workshop.
Your dad owned the place?
I think you're just like a spoiled like demon coming to the service with an attitude. You know who my dad is? My dad owns. You know what my dad owns?
He's like,
he owns all the real estate down there.
Think of all the rumors about my dad. He's responsible for all the death and violence and darkness in the world. That's just complete lies. He did some good things too. He did things. He knows things. It's all them rumors that y'all heard from Jesus.
Bill Hope. Inflation is bad when demonic beings have to get a retail job to survive.
Jesus came up there and gave y'all salvation. Now you're all uppity. You think you got it all figured out, huh? Because for thousands of years, we were just rotting in y'all's brains. And he comes and done changed the game.
Just ruins everything.
Well, there's people out there like Jay-Z and what's his name? Diddy. Probably mad. Like, dang, why's Jesus got to ruin everything for us? We up here having fun.
Once again. Why you always coming around ruining the fun? Always coming around.
Gil, going to HR. Going to report this. This show here, with the heretic who doesn't serve the devil. He could at least be self-righteous and phony like the rest of us. These people are like, oh, Lord, we love you so much. Oh, we are so righteous. We're not like that foul guy, Josh Turner. We believe our lies. To thine own self be true, to hell with that. Pun intended. Smoking our own brand. You got hateful lies in your heart, let it out. That's what they do. Damn hollow earth goblins taking all our jobs. Yeah. But can you imagine, though? So what happened to this guy? Mario goes out of the bathroom. He goes around the corner. He thinks he kind of pinpoints the guy. He holds up his phone. He snaps a photo. He goes out to his truck. You know what he sees in the photo? Holy crap. Nothing. He looks like a normal guy. This is an ugly, acne-faced teenager. So he asked me what I think. I said, I think you are absolutely batshit crazy out of your freaking mind. Stop eating too many cheeseburgers. I did say that, and he laughed, and I laughed too. And I said, no, but seriously. Well, he said that. He said, no, but seriously, what do you think? I said, that's what I think. And then I got him again. I said, no. I said, what I really think, Mario, and I'll tell you this. There's a thing called demon face. People are seeing this. Me and Anthony talked about it earlier before the show because we were talking about these cases. But what is it? I don't know. And are we expected to just figure it out on this show for a couple of hours? No. But I can tell you this, it really does exist. It exists because many, many people are seeing it now. And we are starting to get one of these cases, at least, I'd say, what, twice a week at this point?
Yeah.
The reports started coming in about 2 years ago, because we went back further than that. And there were a few of these people saying that they were seeing these demons. A guy was saying that he was over at the shoe place. What was it called? The foot action,
the outlet mall?
locker. Yeah, the guy told us, the one that worked out there, but it was the guy. He said that he was getting shoes.
Mhm.
Remember, because I made a joke with him, and he was buying shoes at the place in the mall, the one with the referee.
Yeah, Foot Locker.
Foot Locker, there it is. He said, dude, I was at the Foot Locker up in Dallas. This guy worked at the outlet mall in San Marcos. And he said, dude, he goes, I saw with my own eyes this man. He turned around, and he was a young guy about my age, went to hand me the shoes. He's like, and his face kind of distorted, and he had these pointy ears, and then went back to normal. If these accounts are to be believed, it's happening more and more and more, and it's happening to friends of ours. So one day, these people just up and decide to become schizophrenic. No history of anything, and all of a sudden, I'm 30 years old, normal, healthy male or female. Some of them are female. And now I'm seeing demons at the movie theater. The usher comes around the corner, and he's like, I'll remember your face. And you're like, what in the F was that? Because I'll tell you something. It's happened to me, too. I literally looked up the other day, and I thought I saw somebody's face distort. Nellie did, too. And people around you are telling you that it's happening to them. The lady that works at one of the hotels that we do patrol, she says, hey, I know you got that show. She was in the middle of night auditing. She was doing the shift change, whatever. And she's like, let me tell you something. She's like, my daughter has a story to tell. She's like, she freaked out at the mall the other day. Came outside and told me. I went back in. I looked. It just looked like a normal woman. She's like, but I couldn't shake what had happened to me. She went to a particular company that bakes goods, bakes cookies at the mall. Girl working there at one particular mall she went to didn't look human. We hear this all the time now. So is this a syndrome like these, like the naysayers? Oh, this is a syndrome that's making these people see demons. They're calling it demon face. Me and Jason Bland touched on it. You're seeing demons? What if it's because they're there? What if what I saw? What if what Nellie saw? What if what my brother saw recently? This is recent stuff. One of my cousins, a couple of my friends up in Colorado, and then thousands of listeners around the world. They're starting to see people's faces changing into demons. Like, how is this possible? What is causing this? Or maybe it's really happening because maybe these people aren't normal. Maybe they have a bloodline. Maybe they don't even know that they're that. A woman reached out to me. Her name is Sarah, and she told me a fantastic story. When she looks at her boyfriend now, she sees the devil. Nothing she can do. She's like, if we FaceTime, I don't notice it. We talk on the phone for hours, He's working on the oil rigs out in West Texas. She's living in East Texas. She said, it's crazy. She's like, he's about to transfer over here. She's like, and I'm scared. because I keep seeing his face distort during times of heightened emotion or during coitus. She's seeing his face change. And Sarah is scared and thinks maybe there's something to this. I mean, when she told me that he was very controlling, very angry, very whatever, I said, maybe she's reading into this. And then I thought maybe this guy's not as bad as she's like, he's so controlling. He wouldn't even let me donate to your show. I said, that guy's a demon. You got the devil for a boyfriend. That's all I'm saying. I just right 100%. You need to do something. Dump that chump, dump that zero, and get a hero. Any guy that'll stop you from donating to PRT, that's an evil MF right there. Get rid of him. You got to go. That's it. Arzuko says, I heard comment earlier, I have a wild story. Send it to me. Send it to me through my email. Exactly. Maddie knows. The dude is bad news. Drop that dude with the bad attitude. Get rid of him. I'm kidding. She didn't say anything about donating to the show. That's all bullshit. Ain't nobody want to donate to us. Look, she said, she's like, I see this guy. He comes to visit where I'm living in East Texas. She's like, 100%. I see him and everything's fine. And then we heightened emotion right at first, and she goes, and we go to hug and I see his face change. And she's like, I'm really convinced that he's not aware that this is happening. He doesn't know. I said, yeah, but do you think he's aware of what he is? She said, no, I don't believe it. She doesn't believe that he knows what he is. Could be anything. The guy at the burger place, the fast food joint, he goes back in there a couple days later. He sees the same guy. He thinks that was the guy that we originally saw go to the bathroom. He got the courage up to follow this guy to the bathroom, and he wanted to see if he could see him in the mirror again. The guy kept his head down, like just putting water on his face and not lifting his head. So when he walked in, he's like, the guy's head is down. He doesn't see the guy's head. He's trying to get a good look at his face, but it looks blurred. So he goes to the urinal. I know this sounds crazy. The guy's in there stalking another guy in the restroom, right? And I didn't give him this. I didn't tell him, here's your homework. Go back in there and order a delicious cheeseburger, but don't eat that. Just run into the bathroom, see if you can stalk this guy. We got to get to the bottom of this. So he goes into the bathroom and he goes, I look back from the urinal. He's like, and the guy's looking over at me. And the guy's like, what? And he's like, guys, give me an attitude. And I'm be honest, I'm reading this thinking, probably would too. I mean, you did follow the guy in the restroom just so you can see if he was a demon. That right there in of itself, I mean, I'm just gonna say that starts to become like a little bit, that's a little odd. But this is this is where we're at, folks. This is what's happening because people are seeing this. I don't think they're all making this up. I know what I saw. It was just real quick, but it looked. And then me and Nelly started talking about it the other day. I think that's maybe the third or fourth time we've seen something like somebody's face look weird. And we weren't really like putting two and two together. We weren't like, hey, man, just a quick glimpse of something, There was a guy on a bike that me and Nelly saw. Didn't look human. And you're like, well, I don't know. But when people are sending you stories and then this guy's over here like in the bathroom and he sees this guy, he turns around, the guy goes back out. And he goes, that's when he saw in the mirror real quick. He saw that guy's face look different. He goes, I go back out there and I'm waiting on my food. And the guy's like looking all nervous, looking around, eyes shifting around. So the question I asked, I messaged him and I said, "Do you think he's human? Do you think he knows that he's not? If he isn't?" And he says, first, no, I don't believe he's human. Second of all, he goes, the guy doesn't know it. Or he goes, the guy does know it. He doesn't, he's not unaware. So that answers that. Frailty. Yeah. Andrew Brown. That's a demon, son. You know, I mean, it's very dangerous because you don't know. You're not, I mean, you know, let's not, you know, pick apart people and start thinking, hey, demons are walking amongst us. We need to be careful because, yeah, they can and they probably do. Um, Demons, aliens, same thing. You know, maybe not. I don't know. But it's kind of dangerous because, like, what if we start taking it too far? And it becomes a psychosis. Maybe it didn't even start out as one and it becomes one. There's a person who messages me probably once a week claiming they see a demon. It's the same person. And if you're listening, I'm sure you are. I don't think everything you see is a demon, and none of the pictures you showed me look like demons to me. And just because someone makes you upset or angry, because that does seem to be the linchpin for you, the crux of it is you need to be real careful about that. Go get help. Not that you're crazy, but that you could become a little more unstable because maybe you saw one. Here's the thing, too. You might have seen one or two that were real. But then you started a psychosis with yourself by seeing one everywhere you went. See, I don't see one every time I leave the house. It's once every 6 months, if that, every year, maybe, if you go by number of times in the past few years. Do I see something weird besides what you hear and see at the house? Yeah. Like I said, though, probably every 6 months. Something that could be show worthy mention, maybe. But I'm on the higher, you know, I think there's a spectrum, you know, and I'm a little higher up on the spectrum than most people, but I'm not at the highest point. There are people who can clearly see through the veil. Clearly, they can see auras, they can see spirits, they can hear them, and they're not crazy people. These people can really see that. They've shown me, they've proven it to me for my money because I've sat there and I've listened to them talk about something that I've caught glimpses of, and they've seen it full on, and they give a full on description of it, and they tell me what they think it is. That doesn't make it true. Doesn't mean that that's what it is. So you got to wonder. I mean, if these people are to be believed that they're seeing these things, where is it coming from? Where are they coming from? What is this phenomenon that people are witnessing, that we're hearing so much about, and that I'm getting reports of, and I'm sure a lot of my colleagues are? I know a couple people who are getting them. I don't know if you're reading it, but there are people who told me, yeah, I reached out to so and so first. So, see, the girl by the cemetery says, for me, about every 5 years, I see a demon entity. That's probably about right for somebody who's depends on what part of the spectrum you're on. Welcome everybody, Blondes and Booze. Good to see you guys. Says one big hello to all. I'm working late tonight. I've been lurking. I want to say hello to all, going back to work and listening and lurking. All right, Krista or Brandy, whichever one. I don't think that everything someone sees is a demon or a cryptid or a ghost. Could be something in your mind. But when you're dismissive, when someone, I know some people, when they get a story and it doesn't fit the narrative that they've created, I don't have a narrative. I really don't. So whatever you, because I've told stories, people are like, oh, you know, I thought you believed that they were metaphysical. Oh, well. If you get a story and it's a good, encounter story, retell it. You're not going to tell it because it doesn't fit a narrative that you want to believe you created. Shame on you. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't go along with what I think things are, but you still got to tell it. You're doing a disservice not only to the community at large, but to yourself. Because you don't believe that way. Or what it really is that you don't want to believe that way. Because it messes with the narrative that you've created, which messes with your money. That's what it is, right? Don't lie. Don't lie. Or you're that narrative that you create makes you feel comfortable. Or both. Right? You've cultivated this narrative. So you got to feed it. Right? And it's not doing you any favors when you're coming across stories and every time you turn around it's saying something different than what you've cultivated. These things are all flesh and blood. Yeah, I saw one the other day that was like see-through. I don't do ghosts. No, this was a dogman. No, the dogman that doesn't happen. That does not look. It doesn't go do that way. No. Werewolves do that, and we don't believe in those. This was, we have to find some kind of bullshit excuse. Not going to report your story. Why not? I don't believe it. It's not. It's right out. It's your story is just. It's not palatable to me. Really? Do you have other people that you can? Yes, I've already talked to 1,000 people and they all hate it. Oh, so you told it on your show? No. I mass emailed the people who are not really experts but know a lot about things almost to the level of expert. And they have all, as a committee, decided that you are full of shit. You have the right, if you have a channel or a podcast, or you have, in two different things, is you have a YouTube channel or a podcast, or you have a book, or all three or both, it doesn't matter. You have the right to pick and choose what you want to put on your channel. And you can make it heavily favored toward one way or the other. Cryptid, ghost.
The girl by the cemetery says that other shows have dismissed her.
Yeah, and that's the thing. One person that don't agree with you can also do a lot of damage too. They'll run off and tell a bunch of other people not to deal with you. They did that to me. Don't deal with this man, this apostate, this heretic, believing in strange juju beasts. We're all running around looking for Dogman and Bigfoot, Littlefoot, and whatever foot. We're looking for it. But this guy's actually fielding reports from loony people. Right? Because the reports show something different than what you're talking about. And if it doesn't, then they like put it at the bottom of the pile. There's one particular group out there, man, that's been doing this for a long time. He was on Facebook the other day running his mouth. I have not had a public falling out with this dude. I don't talk to the dude. He tried to tell me I saw a Bigfoot. I'm like, bullshit. I know what I saw. And I know what a Bigfoot report is like, and that's not a Bigfoot. You're going to need to send that to me. That's what he said. Really? Because no, I don't. Why? So you can make fun of it, laugh at it? Look, shithead, I know what happened to me. Don't worry about what I know. You worry about yourself and your little bullshit organization. You do what you got to do. And folks, let's be honest. That's what makes you the money.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you start talking about this other stuff, then you don't have a show anymore. It's really sad because who knows the truth? If these people started out as serious researchers, they sure the hell aren't now. I don't know what you started out as, but you're not a serious researcher now, because if you were, you would stop poo-pooing the reports that don't go along with what you want it to be. I get reports all the time that make me have to rethink and re-question and rebrand everything. It's just, that should be an ongoing thing. But you don't really hear people go, yeah, I started out as, believing in the spiritual side of it, and now I believe it's all flesh and blood. It's all flesh and blood. The data. Yeah.
Yep.
The data's pointing in the direction that it's all a flesh and blood creature. Chip, shop, chip.
And they like to use buzzwords like facts and evidence, but completely dismiss outright like eyewitness testimony, which is a form of evidence. I mean, eyewitness testimony puts people in jail for the rest of their lives. So if you have an eyewitness saying, hey, I saw Bigfoot, and he was semi-transparent, and he just disappeared into what looked like some kind of portal. I don't know what I saw. Well, what that some people are going to take from that is just, oh, they saw a Bigfoot in the woods, and leave everything out. These are the same people who will use these same buzzwords on you. Well, I go with what the facts and evidence point to, but just always be like, take everything with a grain of salt, and no matter who it's coming from, where it's coming from. But be especially careful with people who like to use these constant phrases and constant buzzwords, because like facts, evidence, blah, blah, blah. Yes, facts and evidence are good, but when people repeat those things often and turn them into mantras, there's a reason for it. It's a psychological thing to put that in your mind, so that you think that that's what they're doing, but that's not really what they're doing. It's a manipulation tactic, so.
When you stop and you look at what's being reported in mass, and your job is basically to slant it to make it look like it's all, physical. You got your work cut out for you. It's going to be hard, because you're going to have to sit there and dismiss everybody's reports. Everybody's encounters basically have to be rewritten and redone. And you got to take the stuff out of there, like they see a Bigfoot and there's an orb involved.
Yeah.
That's a problem for you. If you were a straight shooter and not just some bullshit artist who's trying to do good and for his show or whatever, you would have that problem. And they've said stupid things like, well, you and your kind don't make reports of it. Yeah, we do. Listen to the show. There's people who report the Dogman being kind of like a good thing. I had one the other day. I said it on the show. Go back and listen. Doesn't make it true. Some people questioned me on that one. They were like, why did you tell that story? You don't believe that it's a decent. I don't know that was it being decent. It could have been manipulative. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
It was during Dogman Week. What you got to understand as the listener, folks, is up to you to decide. I can't decide this for you. And I'm not leading you whatever. It's just what I know. When someone gives me a report, there's some people will be like, well, I know you're not going to tell this one because it doesn't fit whatever. And I'm like, first of all, you probably don't listen to the show. Second of all, I don't care. A good story is a good story. And that's our job here. If you want these fake people to run around looking for the boots on the ground evidence, whatever, man, get the F out of here with that shit, man. Good luck with that. Just wandering around blindly in the woods, clapping your hands. Hey, come on, guys. Let's go, Bigfoot. Jump out. Come on, Bigfoot. Show your ass. Show me what I'm working with. That doesn't happen. They don't perform on cue. Right? They're not a circus monkey. I don't know what they do, to tell you the truth. I just know that I don't go out there clapping my hands, screaming and yelling. Now, it doesn't mean I won't. mean, I won't go out there one day and go, come on, Bigfoot, let's go. Whatever it takes, right? I don't, and get this, remember this. I don't want to see it, really. I don't want to. I don't want to have to, but I'm willing to do it. Do you see the difference? Also, because I retell somebody's encounter doesn't mean that I 100% am buying into it or I believe it. How do I know what Sally saw or what her now friend in the bathroom? How do I know? You don't. You don't. And therefore you shouldn't go out and say that, hey, 100%, man, these are true. I don't say that. I do not. Push comes to shove, you can't go and say, hey, man, that guy told me that this is what was real. Now, I can tell you what I think is real and what I believe is real. And I believe certain people, the stories that they tell. Some, most, but not all. And I'm never going to go out and tell you, I don't believe this one, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Because I don't know. Because that person saw something. And they may, you heard that?
Yeah.
And they may fully believe that they heard that. They heard that. They saw that. They heard that. Doesn't make it true. I believe that you believe you saw it or heard it. But does that make it true? Not in my mind. But I have no problem telling you the story. And then you, as a big boy or big girl, whatever, can make up your own mind. Because I have enough faith in you that you can do that. The problem comes when some of these people, like I said before, they're pushing a bullshit narrative, right? Whether it's up, down, right, left, whatever, B, A, star, it doesn't matter. They're pushing a bullshit narrative, and then when they start to believe their own bullshit. It's bad enough that you're peddling bullshit, but then you start to believe in your own bullshit. You really start to believe it. That's when you don't know. You're going to sleep. You don't even know at night who you are. You don't know what you are. You don't know what the future is going to hold for yourself, because who are you? You don't even know who you are. You've lost complete touch with not only this reality, but the reality that makes you who you are. You're playing a role. They're coming in front of a camera and they're pretending to be something that they're not. And it's got to be draining, energy draining. Very tiresome, because at some point you're going to run out of juice, because you have to keep up a false narrative. You have to keep on that false narrative, pushing it so that you can keep making money from your little shenanigans. And then at the same time, you have to wage war on guys like me. The data doesn't work. I got a news flash for you. You like this eventually. The Bigfoot, whose physical came out of the woods. They fall over. Can't even go. He can't even do it anymore. Their arms lay limp at their side. Their head is on the table. They can't even move. The last bit of energy gone. Then they point their finger. You did this to me. You son of a bitch. You did it to yourself. Absolutely, you did. Just couldn't evolve with the data, could you? Couldn't roll with the punches of where the truth is. The truth is over there in the deep end, where you don't go. You play in the shallows. You frolic like such. This is fun. Watching everyone with a keen eye. Don't blink, because you got to make sure nobody's trying to flip the narrative. Here's them at a conference right here with the pen ready to sign. Who are you? Who are you? Do you believe in flesh and blood? Huh? Do you? No. What I thought. Anybody else trying to challenge another narrative? Boots on ground, physical. Okay, don't even look. Sir, you just signed squiggly marks all over my book. So I did. Get out of my face. Your face is changing into a demon. They write over their own hand. They're not even looking at what they're doing. They're too busy looking around to see who's trying to come at them to change the narrative. Then they get up and they play these little games at these conferences. You know what they do? Here's what they do. They get up at the conference and I've seen video footage of this. This is real. Like they sit there and they start spouting out whoever it is at the conference that they don't like, which is somebody who believes in the spiritual version or whatever. And they make passive aggressive swipes at them. Well, like some people, I believe in the real Bigfoot, unlike some people. That's when you just get up and go, yeah, okay, let's talk about the reality here. That guy over there's full of shit. How about that? He's not going to do nothing. What's he going to do? Kick my ass? He's not. I promise you he's not. And if he does get up and does try that shit, he's going to be and he's going to be woken up into the real reality temporarily. Right? Because this ain't WWE like the circus that you've created in this whole community. This whole community is a big circus with these people. Phony as the day is long, all of them. And when you look at they denounce the narratives that we're not doing that. Yeah, you are. You only plug certain things because you want that to be the reality. Well, it's not. And the thing is, and that's a good point, Sid Munoz says, wolf people are going to have their opinions, beliefs, suit their own side. They will never change no matter what we can show on proof that is undeniable, and they'll still have their belief. But one thing you can do, Sid, and this is what I'm going to tell everybody, is don't support them. Don't watch their stupid TV channels, their stupid little shows. Don't support them. Don't give them money. Definitely don't do that. Don't buy their books. Don't buy their merchandise. Don't go to the conferences that they inhabit. It's very simple. Vote with your feet. Walk away from them. You can do that. Because as long as those people hold sway in these communities, we're never going to get anywhere because they're making money from it. That's what they're doing. So, of course, none of this stuff exists because in their world, it can't. It can't. Because if it does, them admitting to it too, they feel like is themselves cutting their own throat. And in a way it is. Yeah. They're at least cognizant enough to know that if they go along with a narrative that doesn't support their view, that they're not going to eat. Because some of these people have invested so much into this crap that that's their whole livelihood now. If they go back on it, dude, they're going to starve. It's a scary thing for them. It's
That's
very
a point
scary.
of no return. You just have to commit and keep going.
Kriegsman says, don't be passive aggressive, be massive aggressive.
It's
True.
It's cool. I like your profile picture too, by the way. It's Deathcore of Krieg. I know what that is.
Robert said, Wolf is making the paranormal great again. Well, you know, if there are people doing it in politics, there are people doing it in the corporate world, there should be people doing it in our world. It's just the truth. And everybody lined up to slap you because they hate you for this fraction or that infraction, go to hell. Stand in line. I don't care. Spout your crazy, stupid ass narrative, lies, whatever. I don't give a shit. At the end of the day, there are people having these experiences. They can't be ignored. It's the truth. It is the absolute truth. And they don't want to hear it because they're like, la, 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 la. And they just hope and they pray to whatever God they're praying to. I don't know. Most of them don't believe in God. Even the ones that claim they do, they don't. If they do, they don't respect him. That's for sure. They think God's like them. I was created like him. I'm just like him. He gets mad and destroys whole villages and does what I want to do. They get giddy over the idea that God's like them. Flawed. God's not flawed. He didn't make flawed people. No, I don't believe that. But you're entitled to your opinion. How wrong you are, it depends. How much do you believe in your own bullshit? Okay. The problem is with these people and these people's stories, what it has to do with what we're talking about is very important, because right now we're standing on the precipice of this new change. And it's all up to you, folks, who you follow and who you believe and who goes into, whatever, who you follow into the brave new world. Why are there so many people out there who hate us? We've done nothing to these people. Oh, that's right. We're not tiptoeing around their bullshit and their narrative. We're just running right over it. And that is a problem. Josh Turner is the worst thing that ever happened in this community. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and your numbers suck. That's why you're taking offense. He gets 600 people on Wednesday night. That ain't right. That ain't right. Every Sunday, 700 people, 800 people. How you going to do us like that? Why are you coming out here with the truth hammer? The hammer of Austin Hammer, Arm & Hammer?
It should be me. I'm smart. I can do things.
They all think it should be them. They're like, I'm the best.
I think even more, what they hate even more than what you're actually saying, the substance of it, is the fact that they can't do anything about it. It's the same way with people who hate Trump. It's even more than they hate what he's saying. They can't stand that they can't do anything about it.
No,
it's that impotent rage that yeah, you're mad, but you're too weak and too dumb to do anything about it, and you know it. On a subconscious or conscious level, you know it, and that makes you even madder and madder and madder. It's it multiplies how mad you are, but there's nothing you can do, so just do you.
Let the adults do what needs to be done, because God knows you're not doing it. Some of these people who, for years, decades even, claim to be spiritual on this subject, and as soon as money was involved, they folded like a cheap suit and went after everyone around them. Somebody comes on their show, I think Bigfoot's an alien from the, depths of the sea. Yeah, for sure. Whatever the crowd says, that's where you're going to make your money. You can't be bought. You can't be sold. That's us. You're not going to buy us. You're not going to make us change into some weird whatever the hell. I'm not a Pokemon. I'm not going to change into what you want me to be. I've had people trying to negotiate with me about it. I'll stop attacking you if you just do this or that. You know what? Go F yourself. Keep up your attacks. Keep crying. I love it. Your tears taste delicious. Keep going door to door. Oh, yeah. Hey, being a former law enforcement of 42 different law enforcement agencies, let me tell you something about law enforcement. My wife prays 800 times a day. I'm perfect and holy. You should be like us. That Turner, he's an evil man. He's a satanicist. Worships Leviathan all day long. This is what these people do. They literally call people up. Somebody the other day sent me a screenshot of their conversation. If they want to call it a conversation, this guy trying to proselytize about how evil and wicked I am. Trying to call them, tell them all kinds of just ridiculousness. Just absolute ridiculousness. This person never even knew me, but they pushed so hard on that other side that now this person is over here going what's going on over here? Because I'm not seeing what they're saying. They're telling me that you're this evil, awful person. Don't listen. But you're the one making sense. They're just babbling into water. And then saying that you're worshiping Leviathan. It's absolute batshit insanity, folks. People that really should be on our side, but they're too caught up in their own petty bullshit. Perfect tools were the enemy. You're a tool. That's what you are. Whether you're paid or not, you're a scribe tool. That's what you are. And it's sad. If you're doing all this work for free, you're a dumbass. Because the whole point of all the people that you're following, they're all in it for the money. They're getting paid, you're not, because you're stupid. If you're gonna be stupid like that, at least have something to show for it. Moron. You better be getting paid all that work you're doing. I remember somebody, another podcast or YouTuber said, I'm going to put in work on that ass. Oh, really? Brazilian butt lift? And then next thing you know, they're like gone, not dealing, yeah, that's what I thought. Tough talk. A lot of tough talk. But at least that person was getting paid. These other people are putting in work and they ain't even getting paid. You're getting bitch slapped all over the place. You're not getting paid. So what I think people are seeing with this demon face thing, right? They're going to their local eatery or the movie theater. We're getting stories from this all over the place. People everywhere. Uber drivers. And they'll try to take a picture of the person, and I'll look at the picture. Anthony look at the picture. It doesn't look like anything to me. But we know it's happening. It's happening. And you're like, holy shit. Another person. Some people that I've known for years, a kickboxing instructor, I've known this dude for years. This guy's never believed in anything, dude. And he says, dude, my girlfriend's brother is a demon face looking dude, man. I never noticed till recently. What is going on with this? Is it the cell towers? Tell me in the comments what you think it is, because inquiring minds want to know. I want to know. Mm-hmm. Apparently my face has changed according to these. Of course, these are religious zealots too. They stop it on a particular picture. You're like, yeah. Did you notice how his face changed? Let's go through it every frame by frame. And when you're over here talking like this, you're going to find some spots where you're kind of like, yeah. You're going to look demon. You're going to look weird. It's freaking hilarious. I go through it myself and I pause it and go, look. There's the Leviathan. His thong is coming right out of my mouth. Horrible. And you're just sitting there going like, wow, this is nuts. But not making fun of the people that see this. I had a guy tell me, he's like, I went in to pay my rent in an apartment up in Philadelphia. He's like, I'm convinced the assistant manager of my apartment complex is a demon. Could this be a bloodline thing? These people have a bloodline and they themselves may not all know it. That's possible, right? They may not know it, that they have that in them. And then they go about their day, whatever, and some people are getting hit with something that's lining things up. What I mean is like there are these wavelengths, There's an energy out there and people line up on that level. What would Nelly call it? I mean, how she talks about not energy, not wavelength. What are the words that she
Frequencies?
uses? Frequency. There you go. It's a frequency. And they hit on this. And then, bless you. They hit on this frequency, bless you, and they sit there and they are confused and they don't even know they're doing it, and they lock on to somebody's whatever it is that's on them, the other. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's not just vampires and werewolves. There's an other on them. or they're tapping into their bloodline and their ancestral form or whatever, something from their past. DNA's in there and it comes out. What do you guys think of that? I'm still in an early stages of trying to find some sort of theory to postulate on this. Because I don't know. It's ramped up so, it's gotten so ridiculous lately. What do you think? Team 3 Ridge Runner says, when you say Leviathan, I picture a really big woman club dancing with a two-shirt skirt. Laugh out loud. Thong, the thong, thong, thong. Yeah, I'm just making fun of that. Stupid Leviathan, whatever. It's just some dumb shit. This person goes around saying it, and they think if they say it enough that people are going to believe it. Yeah, they got a handful of dumbass people to go along with it and believe it because they're simple-minded folk. But the average person is just going to be like, come on, dude. Yeah, your damn dirty mind. And we have to come to our senses with everything, dude. There's a lot of people out there that are just totally like, like believing in things that just are so out of sorts. And there are people out there that are just pushing false narratives, and it's so, and they grasp onto it. They glob onto it. And you can't blame people. People are looking for something to believe in.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to be careful, man. And the bad thing is the good guys are actually coming at you trying to be honest, and it's not always, what's sexy, what's good. A lot of times these people that have this shitty view, it's more appealing because it's easier. It's easier. I got a story from somebody out of Arlington, Texas. I don't want to say it was a woman, because it was a man and a woman. It was first started out as a woman, and then she got her boyfriend involved, and he started taking me down a rabbit hole but I'm going to give you, because they have a whole bunch of stuff, and they might even come one day. And tomorrow we have the first episode, first interview with Monica Rollins. It'll come out tomorrow. I guess tomorrow. We weren't planning on it, or maybe we'll just wait until next week, but we missed a day because of it, because we didn't do it. But it might come out tomorrow. Might just wait until next Tuesday. But these people, they lived in an apartment in Arlington, and they would sometimes see this blurry spot in their room. Now, I know what that's like because I used to see that in the living room of my old apartment, and I would see a blurry spot in front of just in front of one of the bookshelves, not in front of the others. I had like 6 bookshelves in there, in that particular room. And I was only in front of one. Only one. But that was happening to them. And then eventually she wakes up in the middle of the night. And like I said, I'm only going to tell this part. I'm not going to go into what all, there's a bunch. But she sees that blurry spot, and there's like this humanoid figure vibrating inside of it. Like 6.5 feet tall. Blurry, but it's vibrating. And then it turns into a dark shape, like a shadow person. And it's like this being that we all know as the Hat Man. And it begins to move back and forth 3-dimensionally. And then it kind of goes and just kind of shrinks up into like a cube looking thing. And she sees this thing. After that, she started seeing it, like after it materialized that first time to her, it would be around the house. She'd see it come out of a shadow and then move around and then disappear. And then he started seeing it real frequently, more than her. And he was at the time during the pandemic working from home. And then she went out, first trip with her children. They were in Girl Scouts and they did a little trip, a little camping trip, whatever. And her and 3 of these kids see a Bigfoot after going to the same place for years. And here's the funny thing about that. I was out in East Texas. Didn't surprise me that they would see a Bigfoot out there, right? She said for decades, at least 30 years, she was 40, almost 40. This happened. For 30 years of her life, she'd been going out to that area. She said that she was constantly on the verge of seeing this thing. She believed it after she saw it. I said, what do you mean? She's like, well, she's like always seeing, and this is a friend of a friend. So this is a person that I have a mutual with in real life. And she said, I see this thing in the corner of my eye constantly. She's like, we were outside making s'mores, roasting hot dogs. And she's like, and I see something move real quick. And I'm looking, it's gone. I've seen that in our neighborhood a few times. Something crossed the road real fast. Like it's great. I can't catch it. It's moving around in our neighborhood, in that particular neighborhood. And I said, it's odd that you are seeing this blurry thing for months and months and months. And then you see a shadow man. And then you go out into the woods. First time out into the woods after seeing the shadow man. After a few months, you were seeing him. Then you see the Bigfoot straight up. What happened? Tell me what happened. What do you think happened, Anthony, in this case here?
I don't even want to touch it. I have no idea.
Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it, folks. I'm going to put Anthony on the stand here.
Why put me on the stand?
Well, because I think I want somebody who hasn't sat here thinking about it like I have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I already have a preconceived whatever going into this conversation because I was the one that took the story. Now, I haven't told you this one yet, right? But think about it. I haven't shown you this. What she's claiming is very, 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 very important because it started out as seeing something blurry. Her and her boyfriend, it's common law married. We'll call her husband. Seeing something blurry. Then it first appears to her, then to him. And then it becomes just a normal thing for them to see this shadow. And then first crack of the bat, when she goes out into the field for a weekend trip, she sees Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
What happened that she could see Bigfoot? Something lined up for these people. There's a lot more to it.
You mean like something changed with their
the
perception?
frequency, the vibration? Yeah. Mm-hmm. They didn't see the blurriness.
Well, I know that like you technically you don't see with your eyes, you see with your brain, and the things you see, generally speaking, are only like you only really are able to see what you're conditioned to believe is a part of your reality. So if they saw this weird blurry phenomena first, and then after that they were able to see Bigfoot, it sounds to me like that it kind of had their brain had to rewire like what they accepted to be reality. Like there was some questions that needed to be asked, and I guess it opened their perception up, you know, because I mean, like you have to question your perceptions of reality after seeing something like that you can't explain, and then once you do that, you're going to be more open to seeing more of what is that strange reality that you're not familiar with.
Yeah, that is the. I mean, you go down this weird rabbit hole. You know, start off seeing something just like an innocuous blur,
Mm-hmm.
and then you see, because what happened to him, his friend from the military saw what he thinks was a dog man. He goes up there into Oklahoma, in the southern Oklahoma, and he sees a dogman. First crack of the bat, just like her seeing that Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
This comes on the heels of seeing nothing for years, but believing that their apartment was haunted. And even when they moved, they started seeing the same stuff in around their house.
And I think that at a certain point, like you don't have a choice. Like that, they probably after seeing that first thing that they saw, they probably didn't want to see anything else after that. Because I mean, who would after being freaked out by something like that? But I think that like once you have an encounter like that, there's no going back. I mean, you can not want to see anything similar or unexplained anymore all you want, but your perception is going to be open to it if it's there.
If it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The skeptics will say, well, they're seeing all this other stuff, and so that's why they're seeing that too. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. That's why. These people are seeing all of this different stuff, and they're seeing that too.
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole thing started with her. Well, first it was the dogman story. She says, my husband, that's how she started the first message. My husband saw the dogman in South Oklahoma. And my response to her was, what else have you guys seen? Immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I just had this feeling in my gut. I don't always jump to that.
Yeah.
But sometimes I do, because I just felt like, you know what? There's more going on here.
Yeah. Yeah, because trauma can cause, trauma can cause physical change to the brain. I mean, that's what the whole point of MK Ultra was. You know, it was about inducing extreme traumas to force a physical change within a person's mind. So, I mean, maybe that's something similar is what happened to them. You know, and then like there's no going, like I said, there's no going back from that.
And somebody says here about Scott Carpenter. Where is it? Excalibur Night. And then how about Scott Carpenter being shamed by the community at large, the Bigfoot community, the Dogman community, and believing that he was out of his mind, that he was cuckoo bananas. He didn't know who to trust. I sent him a message and I backed him up. I said, look, man, I back you up. And he never responded. Before that, we were cool. I don't know. Probably didn't know who to trust. And what these people are really good at, what they're famous for, is divisiveness. They'll tell you like they're your friend because they pretended to be my friend. Don't trust those people over there because if y'all get together, then it's going to be bad for me. Right. You're absolutely right. Make it to where people can't trust one another. We get done with the conference, the second one, had half the community already just together, bonded.
Mm-hmm.
And these little bastards went right to work like termites. Like they had a meeting.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, this Josh Turner's getting too powerful. You know what they did? They went to the weaker ones, the shit-ass ego ones, and they got them to, and they rattled their cage. They were just like the devil, you know, hey, dude, you really think he should be the guy? I mean, you should be the guy. I mean, you're the one that's got the sword, you know, you're the prince of power, you know, whatever. I'm not just talking about one particular person. I'm just saying that's what they did to a bunch of these little shits. And they're like, yeah, you're right. They got all puffed up with pride. And they went after you. And then there were some that they didn't go to the conference. They were plotting our demise way before that. Lawrence Morgan says funeral meetings. Exactly. They got together and they were like, this guy's getting big. You were there, right? Yeah, I saw it. Yeah. He's being friends with everybody. This can't be good. He's bringing the communities together, communities under one umbrella so that we can study the Bigfoot, the UFO, the Dogman, the ghost phenomena, whatever, together. There are people, though, when they hear that I'm going to talk about ancient aliens or ghosts, or they tune out. They don't want to listen. It's got to be about cryptids. Or they're like, I'll tune in when it's about dogmen. I'm only going to listen if you talk about certain types of aliens. I'm only going to listen if you talk about this or that. That's a problem. You can't make people be like certain aspects of this. But for you to understand what's going on, you do need the whole enchilada. We as a community need to demand more. If you're going to watch these other people and listen to, I'm not talking about the whole community. There's a lot of people out there to listen to, watch BMR, Blondes and Booze, Tex. I can tell you there's 1,000 people out there doing good work. Jason Bland. Go listen to them. Go watch them. Expand your horizons. But there's a problem with some of these people, dude. They are a cancer. And I'm telling you right now, it doesn't matter what I do or say. They are implacable enemies of the truth. And that's just the truth. They will hate me to the day I die. Even if I die, folks, if I die, as long as my show is still there and the information is readily available to you, they will fight and fight. They'll fight with my people here because they want it gone. They want it off the air. They espouse some of the same beliefs as me, but they don't want me saying it. It's a big deal to them that they be the boss, whatever. It's a big deal. They've made that clear to me that they will sell their soul to the highest bidder, to the devil. They will jump in bed with any demon. They've done it. They've literally done it. They've gotten in bed with evil people to spite me because they are not going to let it be me. It'll anybody but me. You know, those people are never Trumpers. That's what they are. Never Turner. Never. That's what they are.
Yeah.
They'll march with the enemy, lockstep with communists, with warlocks, witches. They are in bed with a guy who is literally, I shit you not, he is a card-carrying member of the Red Army faction here in the United States. He is a dyed-in-the-wool communist. He admits it. He doesn't even hide it. Another guy who's openly satanic. He really does have Leviathan on his page. He really does. They don't say a word to that guy. Another one that comes on the show and says, "Hell, Satan." I joke. I kid you not. I joke not. Am I lying, Anthony?
No, not at all.
Witches, warlocks. And they turn around and say that we're the bad guys. We're doing that. And we're not. People who have openly bragged about cursing me. People who came to me and told me that I got in trouble for SA. I'm like, what? These are their leaders. Yet they still go around saying, I'm a good old Christian. How in the hell does that work? Tell me how that works. How the F does that work? Oh, as long as it's not Turner. Never Turner. I don't care if the devil himself comes out and the conference comes out of his butt crack. I'll go there before I'll go talk to him. I'll deal with him. Well, let me ask you this. They're interviewing him. Why do you think like this? Well, I'll say this. He consorts with sorcerers, witchcraft, witches, warlocks. He has turned himself into a cat. I kid you not. This is a guy. He really said this about me. Turned himself into a cat. Another woman, he singed her bushes with his astral projections. Holy shit, man. You're like, I'm not even joking, man.
It sounds like he's making that up as he goes along, but that's actually stuff that's been said.
Mm-hmm. Go to PRT News. What this has to do with the price of rice in China is because we're trying to unite everybody. And these people, they are doing everything they can to disrupt and destroy. And they can't even give you one damn good solid reason why they don't like me. It's all a bunch of damn Looney Tune nonsense. It's the stupidest shit you've ever heard in your life. And it's funny as hell. One person even reached out to me to ask me if I'd melted down my Leviathan pendant. Dude, I never had one. Okay, go back and watch the show. I don't care what this effing roofer tells you. That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life. I don't even know you, or who you are, or who you think you are. But it was the dumbest question I've ever heard. He's like, "Oh, I'm just trying to get to the bottom of this." Go F yourself, dude. Go get to the bottom of the ocean. I don't give a shit. Never had one. Didn't even really know. Actually, kind of embarrassed by that because I didn't really know what that particular being was or what it did. I just know that it was the behemoth and the Leviathan. I never really delved much into the word. I just know that it was used in like satanic, like it was one of the like directions or whatever. Yeah, I get some weird stuff, Lolo. I really do. And the thing is, why this is important is because when people are telling you that they're seeing people's faces change into demons, and I go report that, dude, I have to be able to be, thought of as a legit researcher. But these people have done everything they can to try to stumble me, to try to hurt us. Well, I mean, one of them got on there and made an impassioned speech on one of their crazy damn Lunatune groups, talking about, well, you're not really doing anything unless you go and you physically confront Mr. Turner and face him head on in a physical conflict. He urged them to come down here and to kill me, folks. That's what he was telling these people. It wasn't AI that did it. He was telling them to put up or shut up, go down there and face him, destroy him, physically destroy him, or you're not a man, you're not real, you're not good people. It was pretty damn obvious already. But it is unbelievable, the backlash that came after that last conference. People throw conferences all the time, but you know what they don't do? They have a dogman conference, first of all, and they don't bring people from aliens groups, dogman groups, Bigfoot, ghosts, and have them under one roof and have them talking about all these things over the course of 3 days. People sharing, collaborating, getting together. And we were working together with people that we thought, this is it. We're going to be in this brave new path. We're all going forward. I stood up there and I talked about my belief in Christ. The whole time these people were plotting. Extreme. These people. Hate branded in their hearts. Jealousy and envy as big as Texas. Couldn't believe the shit that was coming out of their mouths. The backstabbing, backbiting, making up stories that I inhabit. What do you call it? Go to these gay club. I go to a gay club and dance around. Biggest crock of shit ever, dude. If I did, I wouldn't give a shit. I'm not that guy. I'm not going to be like, oh, no, it's not me. Like these politician Fruit Loops that do shit, and then they I believe in God. Yeah, sure you do. That's why you're in the bathroom doing what you're doing. You're probably the one that crawled in there. Except you'd be looking at a dude, not a woman. So the thing is, they make up the most ridiculous, most insane, most hurtful things they can think of about me and my wife. We're devil worshipers, and we do the most horrible, evil things you can imagine. And I used to think, man, these people, they were my friends. They turned on me. They were never my friends. And once you come to that realization that they were not, because your friend would never do that to you. Guy that I thought was my friend, let them do it day in and day out on his channel and on his page. Never once scolded them or told them, hey, don't do this. And then went along with making up stories about me so he could try to fill my shoes. How's that working out for you? Are you happy? Because I'm happy. I'm right as rain. And we're still here, and we're still going, and we're still growing, and people are still coming. And they're listening. Because the truth is a light. You can cover that light, you can block it out, you can do what you want, but eventually that's going to burn through. You're not going to, the darkness will not blanket the light. It will not. And you can call yourself the good guy. You can call yourself the light of the world, the children of God. You can call yourself whatever you want. Tarzan, king of Mars, for all I care. Scream it till your ass bleeds. Don't make it true. And it never will be. And the things you say about me will never prosper because it's not true. You're speaking lies. You're spewing out venom. You're telling people crazy shit. Telling people that I'm casting spells with my hands while I'm talking. Are you okay? Fireball. Lightning, chain lightning, all over your face. Yeah, right. And one day, these people, you're going to have to stand there just like me before God, the true God, Father of Christ, and you're going to have to tell him, the real true God, not the one that you have put up in your mind so you can get away with all the bullshit you do, the real one. And so you're going to have to tell them why you did and said the things you do. And it's going to be very embarrassing. It's going to be very hard because I don't know what I would do if I was in your shoes. I have my own things I got to answer for. I got my own sins I got to deal with. But at least what I said about you is true. What you say about me is a lie. So I would think probably you have told a lot more lies than just about me. You've probably done it in every field you've been in every career you've ever had, in your careers as law enforcement or whatever it is that you've done. These people who've done what they've done, there's no telling what kind of crazy damn shit they've said and done. Can you imagine how many people they probably stepped on and destroyed to get ahead in life? If you're willing to lampoon and roast and destroy, try to anyway, and ruin a man's life who did nothing but let you come to a freaking conference and be your friend, what have you done to other people? I bet it's really dark. I've wondered that many days. I'm like, holy crap. Can you imagine, Anthony, what these fuckers have done to people? They have no respect for women, for sure. And they don't even really respect each other. They're fighting, eating each other all the time. They have this group where they're just constantly at war with one another. And you're like, dude, this is why you have problems. And one of them who like has said all kinds of crazy shit. Like one of them, he's an old guy. They attacked his friend. He's still in that group. He's still in there running around, shooting his mouth and saying whatever. And he has, I mean, like he's not even really defending the friend. The friend has a channel. He's another guy from the LBL. And it blows my mind that this guy, he's still in there, like just hanging out with those people who attacked him, who attacked his buddy, who turned on me for him. See, that's the difference between me and him. At least I would back you up. I'd be out of there. I'd be gone. I would support you if we were friends. You chose to cohabit with people who were absolutely rotten to the core evil. And now they don't back you up. Wow. How can you do that? I mean, folks, as a person, just take yourself. You can't judge others. You can only look at yourself. But would you do that? Would you do that? You attacked me for this man. And when they attacked you, he didn't do shit. He just stayed in that group playing around, talking a bunch of shit. It's unbelievable. And I'm not in that group, fake or otherwise. People have sent me screenshots, and I'm like, wow. That's a bitter pill to swallow for if you were him. But you're still his buddy. Still loyal. Still, you were loyal to that guy. But not to me as a friend. Because I had something you wanted. You wanted my followers, like they all do. I don't tell people not to listen to you. They can figure that out for themselves. I tell them not to listen to anybody like you. And this guy had a narrative he followed. Now he doesn't, because there's no money in it for him right now. The money part comes when it comes. If it never comes, then it never comes. And that's easy for me to say because this isn't my livelihood. All the more reason you should trust us and not them. Because this isn't my livelihood. Think about that. Who do you believe? Someone who pushes the same narrative every day, day in, day out. That's their job. That's how they get paid. Then you have a guy who doesn't ask you for the money, doesn't do this for the money. It helps keep the show going, especially the Patreon. We really appreciate those that come and go through the Patreon. That really does help a lot. It makes it easier. But they have a derangement syndrome, folks. These are never turners. And we've all seen the derangement that comes from these people who can't stand certain people in office. So they just go cuckoo bananas, and they will swallow any amount of poison to kill themselves so they don't have to look at the Caesar that they hate so bad. They'll drink a gallon of poison. Now, let me rephrase that. I'm not saying that we don't need money for the show. That's the truth. We do. We really do. We got to make the show keep going, right? And we depend on help. But I didn't get into this for that reason. I'm not doing this to make money. Those people do. So I'm going to be completely transparent. I can't lie and sit here and go, well, we don't need money. We don't use, yeah, we do. We need help. Every show does, especially when you do it as much as we do. But they got into it for that particular reason. I didn't. I got into this because it was my passion. Would I love to make this my livelihood? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. It's not in the cards right now. It's just not. I'd be on every night if I could. Thanks for the membership gifts there, Lawrence. Appreciate it. So we're going to jump off here, but before you go, folks, we have the giveaway, we have the hoodies, we have to do. So let's get this going. If you are in green, your name is in green, and you've never won, then easy, cuckoo. Then just say, "Hey, I've never won," and let's make you a winner. $5 is all it costs for the membership is $5. And don't forget, next Monday we're doing a Patreon show. We're going to talk about a lot of different stuff, but it's for Patreon members only. We're not putting a bunch of stories behind a paywall, but we're going to have some people, and we're going to talk, and we're going to do some things, and whatever happens, happens. Patreon people deserve it. Rocky Lane says, I've never won anything. All right, Rocky, send us your information. What do they need to send, Anthony?
Make sure you send your shirt size, your mailing address, and your name to Josh Turner up here at tpodcast.com. Let me put that banner at the bottom of the screen so you have the email for you.
I got it.
Okay, good.
There it is. We love you too, Ona. She says, I'm not green. Craig's been times like these, I wish I could read. Me too, man. Me too. And Joanne put a good point on there, and the date you won. Please put the date you won. That's very important.
Yeah.
So I can have it on there. Adam, thank you for that donation. We appreciate everybody's help. It definitely helps. And I love doing the show, man. I just love doing the show. I love doing the show. I love doing the giveaways. It's just my life. I wish I could make this my livelihood, but This is not in the cards right now, man. But if it means making yourself evil, selling out, attacking your cohorts, then I don't want it. Because that's never going to happen. Thank you, Megan. Anyways, anybody else want to win? Frost G says, how is the gout doing? I've been doing fine with that. Knock on some proverbial wood. I've been just like trying to eat right, doing whatever I can. I mean, I know that it's something that came from something I can't really control. So I just got to hope for the best. I drink lots of water.
JJ says he hasn't won.
Not one. I think I'm in green. Yes, you are. Send us your address, your shirt size, and the date you won, and your handle, your real name.
Let me look into your account, Patty, and see if it's on the block list or not.
Somebody just said this live restored me. I was feeling unmotivated. Who said that? Gloom Hop Records. As this live restored me. Was feeling unmotivated. You got to be motivated, man. Today I had to pay a bunch of bills and I got really unmotivated to do adult things. And then I realized it gets worse. I still got to go to work. This is not it. I got to do this and then go to work. Sucks. But it is what it is. It's a bummer.
You're not on the block list, Patty. I don't see your Pat Mitch account being blocked. Maybe you got unsubscribed on that account. You got to log into there and make sure that you're subscribed to our channel so you can participate in the chat.
So who do we got that wants to win? Anybody else? Renee Walkaway, thank you for that donating a membership. And if you're a moderator and you have never gotten anything from us, or even if you have and you want something else, whatever, hit me up. Okay, you deserve it. Stick with us. You've been good to us. We appreciate it. So then we're going to run then, folks. We got two people that won tonight. Anybody else in green, you want to win, hit me up. All right, guys, I guess I'm out of here. Send me your name, your address, your whatever. If you're in green and you haven't won, the people who were chosen tonight, thank you. And we'll do it again on Sunday. But before Sunday comes, because today's Wednesday, we're going to drop an episode possibly tomorrow. But if not, we'll drop it on Tuesday. But we'll be back on Friday to talk Dogman. Friday night is going to be Dogman, and more Dogman, talking with Nick Valenti. So he's coming on 8 o'clock Friday. That'll be the day after tomorrow. And that'll be our next live. And then Sunday we'll have another live. And we'll talk about Lucas's Dogman encounters and what he went through. All right. Now, that's not Luke, the guy that was another Dogman guy, because there were two names, Luke. So one of them is Lucas, the other one's Luke. That was the brother of one of the people that reached out to me, and we told their story about what their dad did. He shot one of these things in a shed. That happened, when this guy was young. And that was a story that we told on the show not too long ago during Dogman Week. Think about what I said.
Jordan, I'm going to shoot you an email right now. I don't know how you haven't gotten your stuff.
He says he won twice and never got anything, gave up. I remember mailing to you too, Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
I remember me personally going, You might have the address might be wrong, or somebody's stealing your stuff, dude. That sucks because that means we're giving away stuff to people who aren't even, they're not even a part of us. They took your stuff. Good night, Megan.
Yeah.
Good night, JJ. Good night, Renee. Walk away. Good night, Philip. I'll see all you guys, man. We'll be back. Thank you and good night.
Thank you.